Hello, everyone, and welcome to a RacerTV special report. We come to you today from Camp Coker Bull at GNCC, the inaugural running of that. And what's really great is we've got a really great announcement as we are joined here today by Mr. Antti Kallinen from Team KTM. And he's also the, well, I guess you could say the team manager for the ISDE efforts in the United States. We've got some pretty special announcements today. It all concerns the 2016 USA Trophy and Junior Trophy teams that are going to be announced. Well, right now, Antti.
Yeah, thanks, Rodney. Yeah, I have some great, exciting news. It's a pleasure to kind of get the 6-day preparation going on and announce the trophy and junior teams. So we're here today to get that out there.
I know a lot of people are really excited about that. For those of you that don't know, the ISDE will be coming up October 11th through the 16th. It's going to be in Navarre, Spain, and that should be a really nice place to have the ISDE. I mean, a lot of diverse terrain there and a beautiful country, to say the least.
Yeah, I mean, all the countries we've gone in the past, let's say 4 years, it's been great for us. A little different terrain every year, and Spain won't be any different. It'll be a little bit hard packed, but I think our riders are going to be good on that kind of terrain. The riders that we picked, and yeah, the track is always the same for everyone, so yeah. You know,
it's great. Also, we're coming off of a very big year in 2015. I know Caleb got injured there, but he was leading the overall. Ryan Sipes, an American, wins the ISDE for the first time. That's got to make you feel pretty proud to be able to manage something like that.
Yeah, for sure. And you know, it's been a big boost for our 6-day effort this year. Since last year, Ryan Sipes winning the overall, and also the whole team was great. I mean, we had some, I never want to call bad luck in racing, you know, it's all in preparation, but I truly feel like we got a little bit bad luck there last year, but hopefully this year we have all the bugs worked out, and we're always more and more focusing on preparation. So hopefully it'll be our year this year.
We got a fairly somewhat experienced trophy team, at least now for a couple of those guys. They got a little bit, but a couple of guys on there have got a little more experience, huh?
Yeah, there's a couple guys already, I could call them veterans of 6 days, and then we have a couple guys that has only gone for maybe 2-3 years. So, but they're all experienced, you know, they're fast, so I'm looking forward to it.
Well, tell us who they are. I know that's what everybody's waiting to hear right now, Antti. Who are going to be on the ISDE trophy team?
Yeah, so there are a couple riders that everyone already expecting to be announced. Let's start from the E1 class, which is the 250F class. Caleb Russell will return to race the 250F KTM on the E1 class. He was racing the same bike last year and winning the overall until he got sidelined by an injury. And really looking forward to have Caleb back on the 250F and really show what he has. You know, I'm sure he's hungry for kind of a little
redemption.
Yeah, redemption from last year. So and then we have on E2 class Ryan Sipes obviously is returning. That was kind of everyone already expected that. So he's returning with the Coastal Husqvarna 350, and yeah, I think his success from last year will carry on to this year. The 6-day style of racing really suits Ryan, so I'm looking forward to get him back on top there. And then a second rider in our E2 class is Taylor Robert, who's currently racing the World Enduro Championship full-time, which he just won a day in the last race, so he's really picking up the pace real fast there. And I feel like that's going to play in our advantage, that he has a full season already, experience of the enduro style and also the bike setup. He'll be racing one of the bikes, his race bikes from this season, so there's no any time to get adjusted to a new bike. So it'll be really good. And then our fourth rider returning on the E3 class, Tad Duvall, is returning to our lineup. He's one of our veterans, if I would call. He's been, you know, to 6 days since I started, you know, 2012. So he's been coming every year, and he's been very great and good asset for our team. And he also is one of those riders that the 6 days really suits him well. and he always pulls it together there, and is really been a carrying force for our success so far. You know, we've got 2 times second in these last 4 years, and really looking for that one more step and get these guys on the top of the podium. Dad Duval is going to race it on a KR4 Husqvarna team on a 302 stroke. So that's going to be a new bike. He was the only one that had to make adjustment from his regular GNCC racing bike to a different bike, just due to the class structure. So we'll have him a 302 stroke prepared, and he'll start practicing soon. You know, you might see him racing couple local races on a 300 to get, you know, prepared for the 6 days. So
that's great. That's great. And with that's the trophy team. We also have the junior trophy team, right?
Yes, I'm very excited about the junior team. We've had a lot of success with junior team. We won now a few times the championship there on a junior ranking, and the latest victory came in 2014 in Argentina. And I'm actually bringing kind of the same crew back from the winning team for this year. So for E1 class, Trevor Bollinger will be riding a JCR Honda 250F. He's been phenomenal this year in the XE2 class here at GNCC. Showing a great speed, and we'll be working now throughout the summer with him on sprint speed, and just getting him prepared. And he already has the experience from 2014 from Argentina, and we'll be good. Looking forward to it. And then we have on a E2 class, we have Stuart Baylor on a KTM SRT KTM 350. Coming on board. He's been also coming to 6 days now, few years already, and returning to 6 days. I think it's 2nd year now, or 3rd year, sorry. Grant Baylor. He had a great speed last year already in Slovakia, and getting really like on the top of the overall rankings there. So really looking forward to this junior team, what they can do. The conditions might be a little bit drier than what they're used to, but just I feel like their experience and their past success will carry them on, and really show that, you know, US is developing the next generation of ISDE winners.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree with you. It's a good group of riders. There's no doubt about it. I know it's hard to pick and choose who you're going to take, but when you run down those names, I mean, those are the elite of the elite as far as American off-road riders are concerned. But one thing that I got to think about, Antti, something seems a little different. What's different here? It seems like there's less riders on the team this year.
Yeah, this year there's a new rule change became effective this year, that the trophy team got reduced from 6 riders to 4, and the junior team got reduced from 4 to 3. So there are some, with multiple reasons they did that, FIM did. One is to help these national teams to better fund their teams, but also I feel like part of it is to bring the racing closer. You know, now with the smaller team, I feel there will be new countries emerging to the top with 4 good riders. You know, on the past statistics, you know, there's been many countries with maybe 3, 4 really good riders, and their 5th and 6th rider hasn't been quite up there, and that's been holding them back. Well, this year, I feel like instead of counting maybe 2, 3 good countries that will be competing with us, I think now we have a handful of countries that we gotta be careful with.
Right, kind of steps up the game. Now, how does that affect the American team? Is it a good thing, a bad thing? I mean, how does it affect the USA?
I feel like we have very solid team. We've always had a very good top 4 or 5 riders. So I feel confident in our team and in our selection. And also for junior team, I mean, we actually have more pool in the junior rankings to pull. So I feel very confident on the top 3 riders that we choose this year, that they will for sure deliver what we're expecting. The trophy ranking will be again a little bit tougher as far as competition go, but our goals hasn't changed. It's still trying to bring the first ever
overall championship.
Overall championship to US.
Well, that's great, and I know that a lot of people are excited about this. And with that rule change, are there any other rule changes other than the riders?
There are still some in the works that hasn't been announced by FIM, but this is the major one, and there are some other rule changes that may come effect a little bit later. But this is the major one that will really kind of shook the racing a little bit.
Yep, yeah, no doubt. And one thing to point out about the ISDE, the riders that go, it's pretty much a self-funded thing. I mean, it's not like anybody really funds that. Everybody has to figure out how to get their stuff together. We, though, have seen the organization in the past where you've got together some fundraisers and when it's able to gather up some money and get everybody over there in a more uniform manner. Is that something we're going to see again this year?
Yes, I've been working hard on this kind of a team funding program for the last 3 years, really trying to put together a solid program where the riders don't need to worry about, oh, I got picked to the team, that's great, but now I gotta fund, I gotta find funding for, let's say, $15,000 to get my bikes, my mechanic, myself out there, and the whole. It's a 2-week trip for the staff, so it's kind of costly. But in the last couple of years, I've been able to fund more and more towards the riders, and last year we came really close to fund entire trophy and junior team.
That's awesome.
So I'm looking forward to this year, and hopefully I can squeeze in a little bit more of funding from different fundraisers and sponsors to be able to fund this team. It should be maybe a little bit easier since the rider number got reduced.
Right.
So that'll help me a little bit. But yeah, last year it was first year that we got really close that basically riders didn't need to pay out of pocket more than just a few $100.
That's amazing. That's great. And one of the big things that you guys have is the golf tournament at Snowshoe, the Friday leading into the Snowshoe GNCC. And I understand that you guys are planning a 3rd annual golf tournament this year.
Yes, that is our biggest source of income and funding for the team. We're doing it again. We're excited every year. We're trying to up a little bit, having more fun, bigger prizes. We have already confirmed a hole-in-one truck giveaway.
Oh, wow.
And KTM is another hole-in-one prize if someone gets a hole-in-one. So there's a lot of
So you
incentives.
can win a motorcycle or a truck.
Yeah, or both.
Or both if you're really, really good. That's pretty neat. That's really nice. I mean, that brings a neat element to the tournament itself, I think.
Yeah, and we're trying to keep it fun. We have other little games and things planned for this year. So last year was successful. We had about 110 players, and we're trying to get a little bit that number up this year. And last year we raised 33,000, which was really good. Yeah. And then also we had a great sponsor of Coastal last year, sponsoring also the team. So with those two last year, we were able to fund majority of the whole team. So it's a quite large organization to go there. We're talking about 25 people just for the trophy teams.
Right.
So in regards to that, it's a lot of work and a lot of finance burden on riders. I'm really trying to help them, and looking forward to maybe get to the point this year where every rider would be going free.
That would be amazing, and hopefully that'll be able to help out majority of that maybe through the golf tournament that we're talking about. Now, I know that there's probably people watching right now, Antti. They want to know, how do I get into the golf tournament? Do I get a team? Can I come as an individual? Can me and a buddy come? How's it going to work?
You can come as an individual. You sign up as an individual. You can sign up as a team, but it's online registration. You can go to GNCC.com and go to Snowshoe tab, and there's a link there to register. And we also have a link at the KTM website. But easiest is to go to the Snowshoe or GNCC, go down to Snowshoe, and you find a link there.
And the golf tournament going to be taking place on Friday, June 24th, and that's leading into the Snowshoe GNCC. That's always a big weekend. People get to come a day early and I guess kind of celebrate off-road racing at its finest there at Snowshoe, huh?
Yeah, definitely. And there's going to be a bunch of top riders, playing golf. So it's a good way to just socialize with some of the top pros of GNCC racing. We've seen a lot of ATV riders also joining, so I really appreciate everyone, showing the support. So I welcome everyone. Join us, even if you don't play much golf. There's been first timers. It's really relaxed and just a lot of fun.
I can't wait. Hopefully I'll get to come down and play a little golf with you guys this year. But sounds like and looks like it's going to be fun again this year, Auntie. The team, again, a solid team. I know we've looked at these in the past and we've talked about it. This is the team. We got a really good chance of winning the overall. And every year we have. I mean, there's no doubt about it. I think we were kind of surprised that we got an individual overall last year, but maybe we can follow that up with a team and another individual overall here in 2016.
Yes, certainly. That's our goal.
Well, good luck to you guys,
yep.
And appreciate you stopping by and letting us know more about that. And again, folks, just go to GNCCRacing.com, find the Snowshoe tab. You'll find out more about that golf tournament. And also, let's get behind Team USA.
If you love the outdoors, then you'll love all the variety of sporting options at Maury's Sportsman's Preserve. From Maury's world-class upland bird hunting to year-round sporting clays to seasonal hunting opportunities for duck, hog, and deer, Maury's Sportsman's Preserve offers all these hunting activities without a large financial investment. Maury's also offers golf packages and corporate outings as well. For more information on Maury's Sportsman's Preserve, visit online at mauryspreserve.com.
When it comes to protecting your engine, AMSOIL offers the next level performance truck owners demand. AMSOIL provides 75% more engine protection against horsepower loss and wear than required by a leading industry standard, extending the life of pistons and cams. Give the vehicle you love the above and beyond fortification it deserves. AMSOIL, devoted to protection.
Maxxis Tires.
Here at Rocky Mountain ATV MC, our goal has always been to get you the best price and provide quality service. Now, we're giving you one more reason to shop with Rocky Mountain. We call it Quick Cash. It's simple to get. Just place an order with a qualifying Quick Cash item and get cash to spend on your next order. Try it out today. RockyMountainATVMC.com. Get ready.
The Andersons discovered life is easier with an Outlaw RV. The Outlaw is a complete home on wheels with a multifunctional garage. Getting on the road has never been quicker. The Outlaw is made to fit the lifestyle of today's active families. So stop roughing it and start enjoying your weekends. Find the Thor Motor Coach Outlaw that fits your needs at GarageRVs.com today.
I'm a sore loser.
I'm a sore loser. Losing is not an option for me.
Be the best.
The best? The best.
You have to have the best equipment under the hood.
That's why I only use
Cometic products in my engines.
Cometic gasket.
Cometic gasket.
Cometic gasket.
Cometic gasket, a superior quality gasket
For those of us who demand the highest level of performance.
See blue arrows, new blue arrows I just put up. But when you run there, you'll go to check 3, which is at the 9. You'll run all that. You'll come out. I made a couple little quick changes after the 10 to get you back over here. Now, when you're heading back, you're not going to go through that wet spot there either. You're going to come backwards across the wooden bridge, and then you're going to jump over onto this side to come to the finish line. So basically, I just made one big circle around and tried to make it as passable. It's going to still be tough, but you still have to get to check 2 and check 3. So took all the ins and outs or whatever. But just keep in mind, everything that's changed was with blue arrows, and keep an eye on that. So have fun.
All right, Jeff Russell, thank you very much, and we really appreciate that as we welcome along the World Wide Web as we begin our Globecast here today of RacerTV.com and GNCC Live. All those folks tuned in here today, you're about ready to see history in the making, and I want to remind everyone here at the racetrack, safety first, folks. GNCC racing, like all motorsports, can be dangerous. Racers, now that you've had an opportunity to inspect the race course, have heard the race procedures and a description of the course. If you feel that either you or your machine is not prepared, then now's the time for you to withdraw for a complete refund of your entry fee, no questions asked. Race fans, due to the nature of GNCC racing, there is no fence barrier around the course. It is your responsibility to keep yourself and your children a safe distance from the course. Never turn your back on oncoming racers, and remember, stay off the racetrack. And now, ladies and gentlemen, to ask a blessing on today's race, Mr. Ricky Towery.
Thank you, Rodney. Let's go, Lord, and have a word of prayer together this afternoon. Lord, once again, we thank you for bringing us all together so we can enjoy this sport that we love dearly so much. We just ask you to be with these riders this afternoon. You'll keep them safe, Lord. Watch over and protect us. Lord, we just thank you for the opportunity to come out here and do this sport. Lord, we just ask you to watch over our military men and women in all parts of the country fighting for our freedom so we can have such a wonderful country to live in. Lord, thank you for this landowner for letting us use this wonderful piece of property. Lord, we just ask you continue to watch over our local policemen and firemen and paramedics in our local community each and every day. Lord, continue to bless us. Many people have many hours of travel to go home this afternoon. Take everybody home safely so we can get back together again one day. And we thank you for your Son, Jesus Christ. Amen.
And now, ladies and gentlemen, if you would, please remain standing, stand at attention, remove your caps, and cross your hearts as we honor the greatest nation in the world with the playing of our national anthem.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rockets' red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave?
welcome once again here to the CST Tires Camp Coker Bullet GNCC, round 5 of America's premier off-road racing championship. Rodney Tomlin along with Megawatt Matt Watson and Johnny Gallagher are going to be joining us in the broadcast booth today as we get set for at least a 2-hour racing extravaganza. Now, under original rules, it will be normally at least a 2-hour, 40 minimum minute race, but depending on how conditions go, weather and track conditions, it could be as short as 2. But we are looking to go the full length today, so be prepared for what Mother Nature and South Carolina Sands throw at you here today. And now, it's time to introduce to you and the world our starting lineup for this, the inaugural running of the CST Tires Camp Coker Bullet GNCC. Rolling to the line first today after capturing the white background with a reverse number plates there, which signifies his points lead, shared with the number 2 guy now, but of course this guy out of Boonville, North Carolina, 3-time and defending GNCC champion. From Boonville, North Carolina on an FMF KTM, Caleb Russell. Sharing that points lead, opening up the season with 2 wins aboard the 114, a former GNCC champion hailing from Australia on a Rockstar Energy Factory Husqvarna backed by Bell Ray, Josh Strang. Rolling to the line third today, he rides aboard the number 4 from Crown Point, Indiana on a JC. For the number 121, a former top GNCC youth pilot. Also taking some XC1 Pro wins before an injury sidelined him just a few years ago, but back on his way to the top. Hailing from Logan, Ohio on a KTM SRT, the 121 of Corey B., Corey Buttrick. And last, and certainly not least today, he comes to the line riding aboard the number 5 after a race absence just 2 weeks ago. Welcome him back to the starting line from Williamstown, West Virginia on the Rocky Mountain KR4 Moose Racing Husqvarna, Thad Duvall. And that, ladies and gentlemen, your starting lineup for this, the CST Tires Camp Coker Bullet GNCC. As the machines rev them up for just a couple of moments. We are moments away from going GNCC racing here at this great facility, the Marie Sportsman Reserve, a great hunting reserve from October through March 31st, and also a grounds that has a lot of history as far as the motocross racing and off-road world is concerned. Greats such as, well, Damon Bradshaw, Larry Ward cutting their teeth here. Hank Marie, the first ever national champion on a 60cc Kawasaki. He is one of the landowners here this weekend as well. Many other top riders and stars of the sport cutting their teeth here, like Travis Pastrana, Ricky Carmichael, and James Bubba Stewart have all carved lines in the sands here at Camp Coker on the motocross track. Of course, with the rain and the track changes, it doesn't appear that we're going to see the afternoon race make their way onto the moto track, but still, here on these hallowed grounds of motorsports history, right here at Camp Coker. We're so proud to be a part of the racing history that starts all over and begins a new chapter here today with the GNCCs. As Ricky Towery makes his way out to the starting line now to inform these riders, they've got 1 minute before the start of the Camp Coker Bullet GNCC. And this is where it all starts to really unfold for these guys, my friends. The nerves are starting to toss around. The eyes are starting to blink, and they're starting to narrow and try to focus up there on turn number 1, where Ricky Towery is about to give them their next signal. When the blue flag comes out, it will signal your dead engines call. It will also signal 30 seconds for the start of our race. Shut them down, guys. Shut them down. Shut them down. Shut them down. As we are about ready to go GNCC racing in less than 30 seconds. And I got to ask you folks here at Camp Coker, are you ready to go GNCC racing? Come on, South Carolina. I know that we got a lot more off-road fans than this, and I got to let you know this is going to be a monumental affair here today. So I'm going to ask you one more time. Are you ready to go GNCC racing? 10 seconds. And row number 1, the XC1 Pro, will be off and rolling at our CST Tires Camp Coker Bullet GNCC. $250 up for grabs in our whole shot award. And who's going to do it? The freight train, Josh Strang, pulling it out. Sharing the points lead with Caleb Russell here today, but Strang tucking the Husqvarna up to the front of the point here and leading them into the woods as the XC2 Pro Lights bike class getting set to roll next with Trevor Bollinger, Craig DeLong, Jesse Grom, Sam Evans, Zach Hayes, Nathan Thornhill, Josh Lee, Austin Lee, Joshua Toth, Mike Witkowski, Vance Francis, Mark Horesco, Lane Michael, Tegan Temple, Nick Davis, Michael McGinnis, Benjamin Kelly, Kyle McDonald, Mason Atherton, and Trevor Barrett ready to roll in 10 seconds. All the beauty of those 20 riders rolling into the first turn. $100 hole shot up for grabs, and it belongs to the number 11 of Craig DeLong, Coastal Racing Rockstar Husqvarna rider. And the 200A bike class, maybe not the most number of riders on the racetrack as far as classes go, but this 200A bike class coming up could be one of the most competitive. But let me make sure we got the 200. I got 250A on the sticks here, so we're going to introduce to you the next riders in less than 10 seconds to go here. And that is the 200A class. Dalton Seals, Jesse Ansley, Zachary Hugel, Chase Hayes, Braden Moore. Ansley, by the way, last year's Youth National Champion. Let's see if he can pull a hole shot here today. It's the 3:29 of Jesse Ansley out of Mayaca City, Florida, grabbing the early lead. And I can tell you, folks, after watching him race already so far here in the big bike class in 2016, he's going to be hard to beat. Now here comes the 250A class. It's Christopher Vendetti, Eric Douglas, Andrew Bogg, Sean Benhart, Brewer Cawley, Evan Earl, Cameron Sisk, also Ryan Slopko, Mike Miller, Alex Teagarden, Zachary Newman, Joe Bowden, Coleman Brinson, Josh Farrell, Zach Nolan, Chris Goodman, and Jarrett Stock. And they're off. Mad dash into that first turn. I tell you, I think the rain has really helped this course out a lot. Let's see what it's going to do for the hole shot here. It's the 45 of Sean Benhart from Smithville, Virginia. Bellray Enduro Engineering and HBD Graphics sponsored. Four-stroke A lights coming up next. Braxton McGee, Hunter Shelton, Drew Bolton, Colin Keegan, Connor Keegan, Christopher McManus, Spencer Burke, Trey Jefferson, also Preston Wheeler, Dustin Simpson, Will McNair, Cody Lazenby, Lorindo Silvia, Kopi Beckert, also Caleb Williams, and Tristan Landrum, all ready to roll in 10 seconds. And they're off. Around the first turn they roll. Looks like we got a rocket out there. Tristan Lander pulling off another hole shot, but he's got company coming. And Caleb Williams out of Jefferson, PA, is putting down the hammer out there, it looks like. Way to go, Caleb. I know Mama's pretty pumped up about that right now. As we go next, from the four-stroke A lights to the open A, we got Dylan Rash, Vincent Smith, Brady Myers, Dual Murphy, Roman Phipps, also Corey Neely, Cole Kirkhoff, Zach Tussle, Sam Forrester, Tyler Sereno, Zach Dodson, Cody Jeffers, Paul Petrin, and Connor Smith. Less than 10 seconds to go now as we await that green flag wave and the start of the open A. And around the first turn we roll, and it is the 49, and that is Dual Murphy from Huntington, Indiana, on board a Suzuki out there, believe it or not. That A 30-plus class coming up next with riders like Joe Marsh, Jesse Arsenault, Fabian Barada, Big Jim Steiner, Chris Levin, Ryan Edmond, and Joe Dean. 10 seconds. All righty, rounding the first turn, we got the 7-5, a Big Jim Steiner out of Van Etten, New York. 45-year-old Vette 30-plus rider there. Oldest guy in the class, leading him into the first mile. Junior AB, 25-plus, Tyler Hampton, Mason Stevens, Robert Berry, Kevin Simons, also Joe McCarty, Brandon Peterson, Lucas Dowry, Lane Hosler, and Aaron Suter. 10 seconds. And they're off. 6'10", Lane Hosler out of Hamilton, Ohio. Good jump off the line, but looks like the 420s. Oh, Hosler and the 426. So Hosler goes down. And Joseph McCarty from Mount Clair, West Virginia, on the MCI Racing RG Honda, backed by Outlaw FCR suspension, taking the early lead in that one. Senior A40-plus class, we got riders like Shotgun Sean Remington, Brett Togella, Frank Tussle, Bill Atkinson, Patrick Tobin, Ronald Awad, Billy Schlag, Rob Brown, Derek Pacheco, and Bob Bergman. 10 seconds. And another green flag waves, and another row of GNCC racers roll off into the newness of this Camp Coker Bullet GNCC. This class being led by the 418 of Billy Schlag in Mechanicsville, Maryland, on a Trail Pros Ride-On Moto Fly Racing back KTM. And up next, our 200B bike class, and this is Jordan Overfield, Garrett Freer, Teague Securo, Garrett Robertson, Denver Martin, Johnny Manera, Mike DeLio, Adam Parker, Cash Jacob, Nathan Davis, Chase Colville, Hank Hayes, and Blake Bowman. 10 seconds. And they're off. Trying to get this one sorted out as they round that first turn. It's the .539. You've seen the 16 number plate in memory of Ty Keston. That was Hank Hayes from Oakdale, Pennsylvania, on a PR2 suspension, Tri-State Power Sports and Total Image back to KTM. Then the 200B bike, Bet B coming up next. Larry Hooper, also Scott Dowland, looking at Sean Moore's 10 seconds. Scott Baldwin, Stephen Young, Jared Hoffman, Mike Barber, Cassidy McMahon, also Matt Yukovich, Carson Missenheimer, and Nathan Wallace. Stephen Young out of Nelsonville, Ohio, the 352 Pro Tune suspension machine got a good jump, but oh my, he's getting pinched out. Oh, mercy. Lordy B, the 523 going to get the big gimme on that. And that might have been Carson Missenheimer, but man, oh man, a little bar banging going on down there. I thought they were going to shoot through the banners for a moment. Open B, Devin Newkirk, Grant Lehman, Dominic Jarvis, Ryan McManus, Michael Hall, Brian Schell, also Craig Daff, Zach Perry, and Jared Shiley. Ready to roll in 10 seconds. And that Open B class off and rolling now. Thought I saw a good jump by Dominic Jarvis. Dom Jarvis there, 33 there. It is 2:37. Devin Newkirk out of Hillsboro, Ohio. V3 Off-Road 561 and PSI sponsored ride. And we got the Senior B 40 Plus coming up next. We got Devin Ferguson, Dan Nanko, also Leon Whitaker, Mike Kochman, Jeffrey Flynn, Victor Raskta. 10 seconds. Christian Broombaugh, Hector Snethen, Darren Lingfelt, also Mark Proper, Will Gribben, Eric Robinson, and Darren Dormos. Around that first turn, these riders roll now. A lot of position jockeying going on, and 434, I think, is going to get it. Mark Proper, Guys Mill, Pennsylvania, KR4 Arrive and Ride, FAR RMA, that's Rocky Mountain ATVMC, and also pre-upper cutter. And that's the Senior Bs. We go to the 4-stroke B lights now. Colton Cup, Justin Murphy, Hunter Williams, Bolton Biroth, Troy Lieberman, Britton Laird, Brendan Poling, 10 seconds. Christopher Hoyle, Talon Bennett, Carter Johnson, Tyler Bosley, and Colton Hale. And they're off. 229, Hunter Williams from Sophia, North Carolina, on the Rocky Mountain ATVMC KR4 Arrive and Ride machine. So Hunter Williams getting that one. He's also backed by VER. And I think that's VE Rubber maybe. And 4-stroke B lights are off and rolling as we go to, I think, our final start of this afternoon race. And 10 seconds. 250B getting ready to roll. James Harsberger, Matthew Donahue, Edward White, Tim Steiner, also Matthew Davis, Kyle Prismont, Will Buskirk, Michael Adam, Sean Shalaby, TJ Weber, Bailey Parker, Noah Stevens, Cody Aliff, Michael O'Brien, Nick O'Brien, Billy Seglia. Whoa, 236, I believe is who that is. That's little Timmy Steiner, who's bigger than Big Jim Steiner, believe it or not. That's a father-son combo going on there. He's backed by Ethica Recreation, Factory Connection, and Down and Dirty. And, folks, that's going to be our start here today, the 250B bikes, our last class, and nearly 200 riders now traversing their way through the South Carolina sands and woods here at Camp Coker. And I tell you, folks, we got a big one in store for you. Going to be at least a 2-hour race. We're looking at a normal at least 2-hour and 40-minute to 3-hour race, but if conditions warrant, we might see only a 2-hour race. But we'll keep you posted on that, and we've got a big day ahead as blue skies are starting to prevail here at Camp Coker. We'll be back with GNCC Live and more great racing right after this.
For a corporate, family, or wedding event, Maury's Recreational Retreat is a 150-acre hidden gem just outside Florence. We offer a 13-bedroom Grand Lodge with full commercial kitchen. Relax and enjoy one of our lakes with fishing pier and boat dock, bumper boats, rifle range, lighted ski facility, horse riding trails, swimming pool, kids playground, and paved go-kart track. On-site chapel is also available. For more information about the perfect getaway for your mind, body, and soul, go to MauriceRecreationalRetreat.com.
When it comes to guarding your engine, AMSOIL offers the next level performance enthusiasts demand. AMSOIL provides 75% more engine protection against horsepower loss and wear than required by a leading industry standard, extending the life of pistons and cams. Give the vehicle you love the above and beyond protection it deserves. AMSOIL, devoted to protection.
Maxxis tires.
CST tires.
You smell it, you feel it, you can taste it in the air. Speed, man. Full wide open. Blast. I didn't really like high school too much. Too booky, too take notes, learn this, and that's it. Got WildTech. That full-size motorcycle. The feeling of taking them apart every day, putting them back together. You can't explain it. Everything I learned applies to now. Seeing your motorcycle that you put together right around the track at 180 miles an hour, oh, definitely rewarding. My name is Mike. My school's WildTech.
Get on the fast track to a career. Turn pro at WildTech.
I've been with Liat for a lot of years, and I know the dedication they have for safety. When they told me they were coming out with a helmet, I signed right up.
And welcome back to RacerTV here. And we're GNCC live from the CST Camp Coker in Society Hill, South Carolina. You're watching the live feed from the 6-mile marker here. We've gotten underway. Those of you watching at home got to see the starts. We had Josh Strang grabbing the whole shot in the XC1 class. It was, I believe, Craig DeLong grabbing the whole shot in the XC2 class. And for those of you watching at home, if you just tuned in, obviously we are on a delay. We started just a little bit late here due to some inclement weather that rolled through. We had one heck of a storm that lit us up with quite a bit of rain and also some lightning. Actually had to cut our 10 a.m. race about an hour short. And we're starting this race under the assumption that we're going to try and go 3 hours if we can, or as close to 3 hours, but understanding that obviously given the conditions, we will do the best we can to make for fair and safe racing conditions for all those involved. As we're watching this shot here at the 6-mile marker, we can see that I believe I'll have to confirm with our director and technical directors here, but I believe our mile markers are going to be a little bit off today due to the fact that we have had some major course rerouting already before we started this race. So what we're looking at the 6-mile marker here is realistically probably just a few miles, if even a mile into this Camp Coker course. I'm joined here by Matt Megawatt Watson. Matt, it's been a tumultuous day so far, but a good day. We've had some good racing action already take place in the youth race and also our 10 a.m. race. Now as we truck into our afternoon pro race, we see that the conditions are a little bit moist, but what do you think, how do you think this is going to shake up the action? What are we going to see here over the course of the next several hours?
Well, Johnny, my first take on it is after lap number 1, I think things are really going to come around if we don't see any more rain. If everything stays north of us, I think we might end up with ideal racing conditions here within maybe an hour and a half of racing.
Well, that's certainly the optimistic way to look at it, and we like that optimism out of you, Matt. I think, that's certainly a possibility, and we'll watch, and we'll get to see it all unfold here live on screen on RacerTV.com. For those of you watching at home, for those of you listening in at the track, we're going to call the action as it happens here in front of us. As I said, please take note of the fact that the mile markers you do see on screen are a little bit off today, so if you see things, and actually I believe we've removed those mile markers so that we no longer have the confusion. So the course that we're looking at is going to be, sections of it are going to be like this, which has already been run through several races this weekend, and then we're going to see a lot of new stuff, obviously, Matt, because the GNCC crew has been out there, the track crew, working hard over the past several hours since the morning race ended a little bit early, and they had to reroute some stuff. They had to completely make a new track in quite a few sections. And those who did get the benefit of hearing the riders meeting on the line, they were informed of the changes, and they were quite a few. It was a laundry list of changes that it took, and that just shows the way this crew can think on its feet and get things ready to go for these guys to go out and do what they do.
Johnny, it's amazing how quickly they did reroute this course. There were several areas where, the standing water was a bit deep. It was going to make for a traffic jam at some time or another, or just get deeper as more bikes went through it. So you know what? As you mentioned, Jeff Russell and Ryan Eccles and the crew rerouted this course. A lot of these sections, a lot of these connectors and trails, as you mentioned, brand new. The guys just went through and did them within an hour's time. So going to see some completely new sections. But if we take a look right here, Johnny, coming through the trees, if we've got any kind of elevation whatsoever, if we're not talking about the low-lying areas, I'm telling you, if we don't get any more rain, if that sun comes out like it's planning to do right now, this thing's going to dry out pretty good. Yeah, we're going to have wet, sloppy sections. The bikes are going to get muddy and heavy on the first couple laps. But I'm telling you, by the end of this thing, it could really shape up.
Well, having been out and raced this course yesterday, I can tell you the course needed some rain, no question about it. I don't think we quite needed the amount of rain that we got. As we can see now, we're out in the field sections. This is about midway through lap 1. I don't know what actual mile marker this is now, but this is about halfway through the lap. There we see what appears to be, that is Stu Baylor there. We did see Thad Duvall on screen just a few moments ago. We can see these guys are, pretty covered up. Looks like Ricky Russell there, and that there again, that's Corey Buttrick actually. Looks like in front of Stu Baylor, so the two SRT KTM teammates running there in formation. As we look back through here, I can tell by the tone of these machines coming, we've got some XC2 Lights rider. That's Lane Michael, who appears to be leading the way. We can see he's already removed his goggles there, Matt. He's taking a look over. Unless we missed an XC2 rider already, look at this water. They're tiptoeing their way around. That's Tegan Temple in second, at least what we believe to be in second, unless we've had a rider that's already worked their way up into the XC1 riders. But the first XC2 rider we've been able to pick up at what is marked as the 11-mile marker. And there goes Tegan Temple around the outside. Lane looks like he's going to kind of drop back, conserve the fact that he does not have goggles. Our camera kind of took a little pause there, so we'll come back to this other shot a little further back on the course. But what I was starting to say before we got to that, Matt, is there really is quite a bit of diversity in the terrain here in terms of wet versus dry. Yesterday, as I said, we really needed some rain. It was incredibly dusty for anybody who was here or was watching the race at home. It was dusty, dusty, dusty. But then there were these sections that were low-lying areas that were, as we dug just a few inches below the surface, we actually had water pumping up and filling those holes. So that combined with the rain, I really think we're going to have some wet conditions in the low-lying areas. But as you said, up on top, on the ridges, up higher, I think we're actually going to maybe even get some dust kicking up when this one's all said and done.
We might. Like you said, I'm being a bit optimistic, but with the amount of riders we had out there and the caliber of riders we have on the course right now, using the power, turning the surface over, that could happen. But it's interesting that you said the moisture coming to the top.
These guys are coming to the finish line for the completion of lap 1.
I was noticing yesterday on the camera shots that there was still moisture, and I was like, it's amazing to me that when they turned that over, the top 4, 5, 6 inches got dark brown, got all kinds of traction, and the dust went away.
I'm wondering if we've missed
cut a lap here.
Some of... Okay, so we missed the top few riders. Caleb Russell was leading the way. There we see Daniel Milner on screen. Looks like Chris Douglas behind him. And we'll be waiting and watching and see exactly. This looks to be Tegan Temple, so that is the leader of our XC2 class, I believe. Yep, 525, that's Tegan Temple. So we saw him just a little bit ago there battling with Lane Michael. You can see these conditions are just sloppy, sloppy, sloppy. Look at that. So that appears to be a perfectly good line until you charge into it and see that it's completely full of water. So as we refresh our screen here, we'll see if we can get an update on the... so as we go through, at the completion of lap 1, it was Caleb Russell leading the way on the number 1 FMF KTM. Chris Bach, the number 4 JCR Honda, in second. Ricky Russell, the 212 on the MCS Suzuki team, running in third place. Jordan Ashburn, who really likes the mud, in fourth place. Thad Duvall in fifth. Daniel Milner, we did see, in sixth. Chris Douglas in seventh. Stu Baylor in eighth. And Corey Buttrick in ninth. And those are the 9 riders that we've had check in our XC1 Pro class. And in the overall, we have Jesse Grom actually who is second place overall and he is leading our XC2 bike lights class. So we did not see him on screen. He must have come through before we actually did have the camera come back up on. So we've got our top 10 overall as it runs right now. Caleb Russell, Jesse Grom, Chris Bach, Ricky Russell, Jordan Ashburn, Thad Duvall, Tegan Temple, Lane Michael, and Trevor Bollinger. Rounding out the top 10 overall, it's Daniel Milner. And we got to point out here, in 11th overall, there's a name we haven't seen lately, Nick Davis. So he appears to be running in the 5th place spot in our XC2 class, and he's back after taking a race off and getting some things sorted out. And, you know, the mud today could be a great equalizer, and we could see some guys up there that we haven't seen in a while.
Let me tell you something, Johnny. That list of names you just read to me there, those 11 guys, any one of those guys can win today. When you add this kind of conditions, wow, it's really anybody's game. And I tell you, there's going to be a mistake made somewhere. Somebody's going to choose a bad line. Somebody's going to go for a pass. Something's going to happen out there that's going to be a game changer today, Johnny. The situation that happened earlier, it's not so much the rain, it's the amount of rain we got in a short period of time. It's just nowhere for this water to go. The ground was so dry that where it's standing, it is standing. And as we saw that rider come through by the finish line, he went foot peg deep, what looked like a normal line, and somebody's going to get surprised today.
Well, that I got to tell you, Megawatt, as I was speaking with some of the riders after our 10 a.m. race, they said that as that rain was coming, you know, the ruts that had already formed from yesterday's race. Here we see on screen Caleb Russell working his way through. We don't know exactly what point of the track this is. As we can see, this is all new, freshly rerouted, all new trail. Nobody's really sure that exactly what. Whoa, hey Megawatt, I see what we're seeing on screen is Chris. I'm sorry. Now we see that is Jordan Ashburn, I believe, in the second place position. So he's made his way around several riders, including Chris Bach, and there is Chris Beck now in third. But let's point out something that we don't see on screen. We do not see the name of our co-points leader, Josh Strang. He is not in the top 20 overall currently, which means he is really experiencing some troubles, unless perhaps a transponder malfunction, but we also have not seen him on screen from a shot. So you have to wonder, is Josh Strang buried in a mud hole out there? Has he had some bike troubles? Or is he circulating just outside of the top 20 overall? There is Daniel Milner on screen, the Ampro Yamaha rider. It's been a good day so far for Australians. Early in our morning race, we had two of the top finishers. Josh Strang just checking in 21st overall. So that answers that question. He is not in the top 20, but he is still out there on the course. I expect that we'll see a fast and furious charge from him, trying to get back up and gain as many points as he can, because I got to tell you, if he doesn't score points today, that is disastrous for a championship.
Worst possible scenario for Josh Strang. No two ways about it. I'm listening to talk about Chris Douglas, Milner, and I'm thinking of all these young guys, all these up-and-comer guys. But when you didn't mention Josh Strang's name, I didn't even catch it, that he hadn't checked in yet. Man, oh man. You are going to see Josh Strang put the hammer down right now and try to make up as many positions as soon as possible, because it's do or die here today. You let Caleb Russell get away and you finish that far back, it's going to put you in a hole for sure.
Well, I'll tell you what I did just see on screen. I did just see Josh Strang work his way past our RacerTV camera. There we see a battle between Nick Davis and Trevor Bollinger. Those guys in the XC2 lights class looks like they may have worked their way up into second and third. But I saw Josh Strang passing Stu Baylor on camera. Stu Baylor, 13th overall. Josh Strang checked in now in 18th overall. I'm not sure exactly how that changed so quickly, but nonetheless, he is 18th overall, and he has just passed Stu Baylor on camera, who was 13th overall. So Strang turning a disastrous first lap, already starting to make up some ground, salvage those points, and he's not that far out of this. We could see him up within the top 10 by the end of this lap, in which case, disaster averted.
Yeah, it sounded so much worse than it actually was. And like you said, you saw him come by and pick up 3 riders immediately. It could have been something as simple as having to toss those goggles, something on this first lap. But already back up, like you said, going to be a top 10 rider by the end of the first lap.
Yeah, we anticipate that by the time we see him complete lap 2, and here we see our race leader, Caleb Russell, the #1 KTM. Looks like he's getting a little help from the KTM crew out there. Those guys are pointing in the lines that they think he should take around some of these rough spots. So we'll see Caleb came through. I didn't see exactly on camera, but it was right around 38 that he came into our shot. So it's been about 10 seconds. When we last saw him at the checkpoint, he had an 11-second lead over Chris Bach. Now it is Jordan Ashburn, and it looks like it's 20 seconds exactly behind Jordan Ashburn. So Jordan Ashburn stretching it out a little bit now over the #4 JCR Honda of Chris Bach. And 10 seconds back to Chris Bach from Jordan Ashburn. So the top 3 separated by 30 seconds. There we see Thad Duvall, a rider who was not with us last race, rejoining us this weekend on that number 5 KR4 Arrive and Ride Husky. And he's out there running the 4th place spot early, Megawatt.
You know, Johnny, when we look at some of these gaps, you have to believe that some of these guys are actually allowing an extra second or two, actually staying out of that roost, riding off to the side of the rider ahead of them. So the gaps could be a little deceptive as they're coming through on the lap times or the margins, should we say. But what these guys are going to do is they're going to make sure when they get to timing and scoring or they get into these open sections where it's a little safer, a little clearer, these guys are going to get as close on top of each other as possible. But I'm going to guess that a lot of these guys are keeping vision priority number 1 right now.
Yeah, and you hit the nail on the head there. There we see our 6th place rider, I believe that was, of Ricky Russell. 7th place is Jesse Grom, so he's physically 7th. That is your XC2 leader, and I got to tell you, that was pretty close to within a minute of Caleb Russell. I wouldn't be surprised if he is still up within a minute, roughly a minute 30. Our Price is telling us from the booth. And there we see Josh Strang. So talk about a charge. He is now physically up to 8th place on the racetrack after having been outside the top 20 early on lap 1. So this guy is really on the gas, really trying to make up time. Here we see 2nd place in XC2, Tegan Temple. So he's got a little bit of ground to make up on the leader of Jesse Grom. Those two factory beta 1-2. There is Stu Baylor from the XC1 class working his way by. Now we have, looks like Trevor Bollinger, 3rd place in XC2 Lights. Nick Davis, 4th place in XC2 Lights. And Lane Michael, 5th place in XC2 Lights. So your top 5 in XC2 and your top 10 in XC1 have worked their way by here and are shot here early in lap 2.
You know, it's just been a career year so far for Jesse Grom. And you take a look at his performance so far this season, and to be running up here in these conditions this early, that's a great thing for him. But we watched Josh Strang pick up 13 positions, Johnny, in what, a few miles time.
Yeah, absolutely. You know, he's really making some big moves. Obviously, with the time correction, we may see him a little further back in the overall, but physically he is 8th on the racetrack and certainly within striking distance of getting himself back into the top 5. You know, with Strang getting this kind of a rough first lap here, we actually saw him last race get a really bad start, have to work his way up, ultimately finding his way to the podium. I think our RacerTV crew had a chance to check in with Josh Strang and get his thoughts on how things went down at the last race for him.
Yeah, last round at Big Buck, we just had a couple of problems there. I rode the bike on Saturday and everything was fine, and then Sunday, for some reason, we just had a couple of small little problems that we had to fix before we went. So, yeah, we turned up a little late, but we made the start, and everything was fine after that. Just the dust was a problem the last round, so today we shouldn't have a problem with that. It wasn't too bad. The problem was it was so close to the start, we didn't have time to see if it fixed the problem or not. So we were still at the line, trying to figure out whether we'd fixed it or not. So it ended up after a little bit, it fixed itself. So I think the work the boys did before the race was good, and it ended up lucky we got it fixed. It was good.
You know, an amazing recovery there by Josh Strang. Like you said, disaster avoided again.
Yeah,
averted
absolutely.
again.
You know, twice in two weekends here with Josh Strang, nearly missing the start 2 weeks ago in Big Buck. And then this weekend, obviously having we'll have to get a little bit of a check-in with him after the race, hopefully from the podium, the way he's riding right now. You know, he was able to do that 2 weeks ago, came back from adversity early in the race, got on the podium, got those maximum points to continue to be the co-points leader with our series points leader, Caleb Russell and Josh Strang, as they run right now. Obviously, Caleb would be in sole possession of that points lead, but we'll have to wait and see what happens by the end of the day. One thing we know for sure, they won't be tied.
There will not be a tie at the end of the day. Johnny Gallagher, you are correct about that. And I can tell you, each one of these guys has a little different motivation, has a little different drive, but each equally determined. You know, each has the same goal in mind, but they've got a different path they're going to take and how to get there, and a different approach. Two totally different styles.
Yeah, one thing to point out too, I mean, about Josh Strang, he's a former champion, so he knows what's going on in the realm of trying to win championships. So, you know, we talk about it a lot. We talked about it a lot a couple of weeks ago whenever Walker Fowler had his issues in South Carolina on the ATV side of things. It's damage control as much as anything at this point. Try to do as much good as you possibly can before the checkers fly. And, you know, the way things are looking right now, I mean, the track, Honestly, I guess took a little more rain than what I realized, especially since it was opened up. We did have, an hour and a half of good steady rains, lots of lightning, and that's what held up a lot of things out there. We held up the 10 o'clock start this morning because of lightning in the area, impending lightning. We knew it was coming. We cleared the starting line. It's a little lightning storm and some rain. Not as much lightning as what the radar was showing, but we did have lightning. Good move on behalf of the management there, and we went back at it. And unfortunately, another storm developed. Everything switched directions, and we got another one. We ended up having to cut the race. Actually, it was just over an hour's worth of racing, but most people that you talk to out there, they'll let you know that they had a lot of fun. Now, there was maybe one or two pit folks that might have said different. But all in all, I think good day, good call on the behalf of the track crew here. And, we approached this race with an idea of we don't know if it's going to be, we know it's going to be at least 2 hours, depending on weather conditions and things like that. It could be as long as the normal race. And I think that's what we're looking at right now. We got a lot of blue skies. Starting to get hot and stuffy again, kind of like what we saw yesterday as far as the humidity in the area, Matt. But, it's a good day. Still, conditions are starting to get a little more favorable out on the racetrack. But the one thing that we know, this is GNCC racing, and the challenges that these riders are presented with, they've faced before, and they'll face it well here today.
No question. Like I mentioned to Johnny, not so much the rain, not so much anything else. It's the amount of rain we got in the short amount of time that we got it. It's been an extremely dry spring down here. The ground was dry. So what didn't soak in ran off extremely quick. So that made some puddles here and there. But the good news is, you take a look through some of these woods right now and some of the upper ends. Really good looking race surface in there. Not going to see any standing water in those areas. And I bet you we're going to see dust, Rodney, in a couple corners before it's over
I don't doubt that a bit. We'll dig down into that. And these riders are going to be using alternate lines, getting into the drier stuff. There's some of that dust that you're talking about right there, the drier soils underneath. Using those alternate lines over there to try to smooth things out and stay in some of the drier conditions. And that's where we're going to start to see that stuff take place. They did a lot of work on the racetrack. Look at that. See that part of the track right there? They're actually using the extreme outside. That berm on the inside of that rider was the outside of that turn before.
But that berm is now a barrier for water, so everybody's going a little to the outside of it. Already busted through the surface, and you have new traction out there. Yeah,
amazing the multiple types of surfaces we have here. Johnny may have touched on it a little bit ago, but you got I think as much as anything, elevation warrants how bad certain areas are. But all in all, nice rolling property, good sandy soil. It should ultimately drain pretty quick. There are some areas that's going to hold a little bit of dirt there because, we see a lot of moisture in the ground here too. There's a lot of springs, there's a lot of ponds and stuff around here, so we know it has the ability to go a couple different ways here. That's the beauty of this place, man. I mean, there's so much available here for us from a racing and riding standpoint.
Oh, no question. The diversity is absolutely amazing. But the good news is the quality is fantastic in all those areas. The elevation, the fast sections, it's just an unbelievable track. And Johnny mentioned yesterday adapting to a couple different surfaces throughout the course and was amazed really by how many different types of traction he found yesterday in the pro race.
Right. I don't doubt that a bit. You got traction from wood right here over the bridge. Which is not much traction, that's for sure. But you go from sand and some of the harder pack stuff and things like that. And a good flowing racetrack. I don't know what kind of changes we have out there today, but round 5 of GNCC Racing, this new special event here that has so much history from the Camp Coker motocross portion of it. We talked about Hank Morey being the first 60 national champion, the first rider to race a Kawasaki 60, the first Kawasaki rider to win a national championship on that brand. And not only him, but, the legendary part of that, he's part of the family that lives here and operates the facility. But you look at names like, we talk about Larry Ward, we talk about Damon Bradshaw, but there's also Travis Pastrana we could look at that came through here. James Stewart, Ricky Carmichael, some of today's big stars and some that are maybe fading away, but this place has a big place in history of motocross and off-road racing, I think.
You mentioned that KX60. Let me tell you something, Rodney. that was a revolutionary bike back in the day.
Yeah.
Okay. Many manufacturers made a 60cc only 1 or 2 years. Yamaha, Honda.
There's something you don't see every day.
Yeah. Is that our beef jerky mascot right there, Squatch?
Yeah, he's watching
Squatch.
the GNCC race in action. He's up close and personal. You don't see that every day, but here at the Camp Coker facility, we can see it happening, and it's right here live on RacerTV.
Hey, that's what GNCC racing is all about. Now let's see if this guy can beat the motorcycles across the bridge.
If not, he's going to have to jump in. Those are the only options.
He made it. He made it.
Just barely. We got a bike coming now.
Let's take a look at this again. 37 minutes into this one. And also want to remind you folks, we want to know how your GNCC Live, we want to see how you're watching today. So Instagram a picture of you and how you're watching GNCC Live for a chance to win an event t-shirt courtesy of our friends at Moto Tees, the official event souvenir supplier of GNCC Racing. And also, as far as Twitter goes and your social media, don't forget we still have our AMSOIL Twitter contest where you can get $250 in AMSOIL product. All you got to do is tweet your podium finish predictions to hashtag GNCC Live for a chance to win. We will choose the winners randomly.
You know, I got to tell you, Rodney, we've seen some interesting submissions for the How Do You GNCC Live, and speaking of interesting, there's the bosses there talking on live on RacerTV, Tim Cotter and Carrie
That's
Jo
how they
Coon.
GNCC.
That's how they GNCC Live. And, you know, of all the submissions we've seen, I don't think we could see anybody beat those guys sitting in the pond watching the bikes come by at head level. So if you might
trackside.
Yeah, trackside GNCC Live, that's the way to get it done. Those guys have taken it to a whole new level. We've seen people watching from trees. We've seen people watching from the tops of campers. We've seen people laying next to the track. We've never seen anybody swimming under the track. That was a new one. So
that is maybe somebody run out there and give that guy a Moto t-shirt.
You know what? I'll tell you what. Somebody send it out there. I'll buy it.
Squatch. We got to meet this guy, man. He looks like our new mascot, that's for sure. But looking down here, here's that area coming into the finish line. Johnny, much different than what it was yesterday, but looks like these guys are using a lot of the outsides. They're going outside to outside here, trying to find as much dry property as they can.
Yeah, absolutely. Yesterday, you know, they were actually watering this section because it was so dusty you could not see. I came in, several laps came through here and pretty much rode blind until I found a hay bale. That's the way it was. That's the way it was working early. Now we see Caleb Russell on screen. Looks like he is out in the open fields. He's hard on the gas, and
so
he is charging hard and still in the lead. And he is coming into, man, look at that water. It's just piled up in those berms where they're dug out. And you know, Caleb, one of the few that still has the benefit of having goggles on. And speaking of outside lines, look at this one, way out and around.
GNCC Seals, Carrie Jo. Carrie Jo Russell deeming these are GNCC Seals as they hang out.
We've known for years we have mud fleas, and now we have seals.
The SEAL
GNCC
team.
Seals. SEAL Team 5 since it's round 5.
There you go.
Here we see Jordan Ashburn on screen, so looks like he is in second place still at the 11-mile mark.
About 40 or more seconds down at this particular. I think 38 seconds, 39:38 was where he was whenever Caleb Russell went by there. But I tell you, you know, great new look for Jordan Ashburn. Johnny, we've seen a lot of great things out of Jordan this year. You know, he had that new team, new bike, a lot of changes for him. But we've seen some good runs out of him here in the last couple of rounds of racing, and starts off strong again here today. And you know, with the changes that he had, you know, he had some big changes. Not only a bike brand change, but kind of a chassis style change. Man, you go from an aluminum type frame that's, you know, probably used to a lot more rigidness and sturdiness to a steel frame that's a lot more flexible. It's going to take some adjustment to get to, and Jordan talked a little bit about that.
You know, it's just, as far as, it's just getting the bike set up right, I think, number one. I mean, not having much time on them coming into this year was hard, and I mean, we really didn't get our bikes till about a month before the GNCC, so, and I was in Florida the whole time, so we didn't get any testing on the dirt or anything like that, so it's just been, it's been a learning curve, but I think now that we're getting some really good base settings on, and we'll be good every weekend and from here on. So.
Well, there you go. Like we said, it took some adjustments. He's got the base settings down, it looks like. Got a couple of riders checking in there.
Here is Caleb Russell. Here's your race leader coming into complete lap 2. 41 minutes, 48 seconds. So we're going to be right at about 42 minutes by the time he comes in and completes this. So we're thinking 21-minute lap times for now. But, man, these things are changing fast. We'll have to see how this track holds up. And at some point here soon, we're going to have to make a call on exactly how long this race is going to go. But for right now, the man going the fastest is this guy right now. Checking in, 2 laps complete. Caleb Russell, 42 minutes, 9 seconds to complete 2 laps. And now we'll wait and we'll watch for the second place ride of Jordan Ashburn. While we were doing that Jordan Ashburn interview, we actually did have our 3rd and 4th place riders. Thad Duvall has taken over the 3rd place spot, and Chris Bach now back in 4th. We should see, there is Jordan Ashburn. So actually that is definitely not 40 seconds. He has made up some ground.
Yeah,
the gap
that's
is
down
down
to 19 seconds.
19 seconds. So
wow.
He's really charging hard. You know, and Jordan really likes the mud.
Yeah.
We know that. He talks about it all the time, and he's proven that here today.
Well, it's a good time for him to shine, to be honest with you. Like you said, he's getting everything dialed in on that bike. The confidence level is starting to rise. We've seen good, consistent runs out of him the last couple of races. So this might be the day for Jordan Ashburn after all, as he continues to roll here at Camp Coker. Last time around, Jesse Grom had checked in as adjusted 2nd place overall. We'll be keeping an eye on that XC2 Pro Lights battle here in just a moment. But right now it's Ashburn behind Duvall, 19 seconds, 20 seconds back to Thad Duvall. So
there he is on screen, Thad Duvall, as he goes over the bridge and across the island. The next rider we should see, and there he is, the number 4 JCR Honda, Chris Bach. So
wow.
He is 4th place on the track physically. Now, if we look back through the finish line chicane, there is Josh Strang. So he is now going to be checking in. Definitely worked his way up from the 21st place that he was in at the end of lap 1. We'll have to see exactly where that turns out to be in the overall. 2 more turns as we hear our leaders coming through the VP Fuels Pro Row. Josh Strang makes the right, heads up the hill, and as he checks in, it looks like he is
55 seconds.
55 seconds behind. He is physically 5th.
Here's an physically 5th on the track. Here's an interesting point to ponder. He turned a 22.03. Chris Bach, who is ahead of him by 55 seconds, a 22.24. So that pace can gain a little bit of time over the next couple laps. Thad Duvall, a 22.08. So Josh has got some speed trying to charge toward that top 3. But right now, Russell's looking at a 21.49. Jordan Ashburn, a 21.53 as far as their lap times. And again,
look at the rider who's latched onto the back of Josh Strang, the number 19 Beta of Jesse Grom. He's latched right onto the back of him there and looks like he's going along for a ride. Talking about going along for a ride, I believe we have our XC2 Lights class leader. Well, I'm sorry. No, Jesse Grom is our leader. 2nd place now. Trevor Bollinger, as he turns to come up the hill, and hot on his heels is the not-so-familiar number 527. We know Nick Davis changed that number from 13 to 527. And as we check and watch at the end of... Yeah, so that makes him physically 3rd in XC2 Pro Lights. So the first time we've seen Nick Davis running in a podium position after a rough start to the season. And 4th place, Lane Michael, there he is right there on the 523 Husqvarna, that Coastal Racing machine. These guys are charging here, and they're well up into the...
You know, Lane Michael, I don't know if you've been following the progress of Lane. You know, we hope to see good things out of him, and it seems like we get to see a glimpse of greatness out of him every once in a while. But, Johnny, a couple of weeks ago when we were over in Big Buck at Union, South Carolina, after the race I had the opportunity to stop down by Caleb Russell and Lane Michael's training grounds down there and hung out for a day or so. And I know that Lane was experiencing some problems. He was actually passing some blood, and they were kind of concerned about that, and they ended up going to the doctor to get that checked out. And in the process, they found out some pretty big things that may help, honestly, in the future, because some things he might be able to rectify. We had a chance to talk with Lane about that.
This year, it's been up and down. You know, I got sick there before Florida, and I don't really think I fully recovered. And last race, I don't know what happened. I was riding, I was up front, and I didn't really feel that great. And I started getting real dizzy and blurry vision, and I just, you know, I was scaring myself riding. And before I knew it, people were passing me. I still thought I was going fast. So ended up Monday morning, I went and, you know, went to the doctor and, you know, had a couple tests run. And, but luckily everything was good. I just had some low sugar. I don't know what happened there. And then had a sinus infection. So we got that taken care of. I feel a lot better now. Energy's back, and I think that showed at the full gas. You know, I showed up there, and you know, I had a really good weekend. It was a perfect weekend. Didn't really make any mistakes all weekend. It showed. So definitely big boost of confidence. I mean, you know, speed's never really been much of an issue. It's just been, you know, staying consistent and focused for the 3 hours. So, you know, I had some good riding, good training this week, and really looking forward to this weekend.
Well, fresh off of an overall win last weekend at that full gas event that he was talking about after that week. So, you know, the confidence level, he mentioned that a couple of different times. You know, he's got to be confident now knowing that what the problem was, and it wasn't anything that he was doing, so he can get that rectified. And then doing so well and performing so well last week, and that's another confidence boost. So that might be something that helps loft him back up into podium contention again.
Yeah, absolutely. You know, Lane's he's been riding really well this year. It's just been kind of up and down again with some unknown issues that were causing him to lose energy, and obviously, you know, not able to perform at his best there at South Carolina. Was able to, you know, grab some podiums earlier this season, and you know, it's tough to watch when you see somebody struggling like that. But definitely glad to see he got those problems squared away. And speaking of problems squared away, it looks like Josh Strang really made some ground here. Just a few miles into this lap, we saw them on screen. It was Caleb Russell still leading the way. Then in the second place position, it was the number 7 of Jordan Ashburn. And then directly behind Jordan Ashburn, very close, was Thad Duvall.
Wow.
Then going back from Duvall, there was a big gap back to Chris Bach. So Bach lost a lot of time. Looked like he was missing a left-hand guard, and he had new gloves on. So he spent some extra time in the pits, and that really looks like it came back to, at least for the time being, dropped him back into the clutches of Strang. Josh Strang just behind him. So that is your top 5 as they run. And again, just behind Josh Strang still was the number 19 of Jesse Grom. He seems to have hitched a ride with the what do we call him? The freight train, Josh Strang.
Yep,
So
yep.
Josh, the freight train has got itself a caboose in the number 19 beta of Jesse Grom, our XC2 Lights leader.
Well, Grom right now is currently leading, Josh Strang on time adjustments. They are 5th and 6th, respectively, after time adjustments, as Josh is starting to pull him. Now, you noted there just a second ago that Duvall had closed up the gap on Jordan Ashburn, and we saw that Ashburn was starting to close up on Russell. He brought that near 40-second gap down to 19 seconds. Now, the gap is almost 1 minute back to second place, and that helps, I think, tell the tale as to why Thad Duvall now is all over the rear wheel of the second place ride.
Well, the one thing we did not see is between those two shots, they did go through the BP Fuels Pro Row. I did see that, I don't know if Caleb Russell stopped, but I do know for sure that the number 7 of Jordan Ashburn did, because he had fresh goggles, and I saw paper towels sticking out from underneath his grips. So we don't know how much time he may have spent in the pits. You know, Rodney, there's a lot of other things to take into consideration when you're pitting on a day like today.
Right.
I got to tell you, after the morning 10 a.m. race, I was looking at some of the riders' bikes, and their radiators were completely packed full. There is Chris Bach, so we see he's lost quite a bit of time. But again, you see those shiny new fluorescent colored fly gloves he's got there. Those weren't that clean after 2 laps of racing. He went and got some new ones. Very soon here we should be seeing the number 114 of Josh Strang. There he is. He was quite a bit closer actually when we saw him just a mile or so ago. So it looks like Bach has been able to open up that gap a little bit over Strang in 5th. And there is that beta 252 stroke of Jesse Grom.
Look at
we
that
just
lap.
caught a glimpse of him.
Yeah, look at the lap traffic that was in amongst that. That might kind of tell the tale as to why that's starting to open up. Johnny, you know there's some tight areas out there on this race course, even for the two-wheel side of things, I think. I know I rode the ATV on Friday, and I was thinking, man, it's going to be tight. It's going to be tough to pass, and I'm sure a lot of lines opened up out there. But there are those places that get a little tight, and that might be changing the face of this race sometimes this afternoon.
Yeah, absolutely. You know, this being a first time anyone's raced here, there's no existing trails, which means anytime you want to make a line off of the line that the GNCC track crew has cut, you're blitzing through saplings and vines and weeds and roots and roots and roots and roots. And if I didn't say roots, there's a lot of roots out there. You can tell by these shots and in some of the other sections, you know, there is just roots everywhere over this facility here. But it makes for tough racing conditions and good racing, because we're seeing it so far.
Yeah, very challenging, and it creates a great element to the racing action. Hey, real quick, just to let you know what's going on, as we are now some 51 minutes, almost 52 minutes now into this race. Caleb Russell, Jordan Ashburn, Thad Duvall, 1, 2, and 3. Chris Bach is 4th. On the overall side of things, Jesse Grom checks in at 5th. Josh Strang is 6th. They are actually opposite there on the track, but time adjustment brings them that way. Josh Strang back in the number 6 spot. Trevor Bollinger is 7th. He's 2nd in XC2 Pro Lights class. Nick Davis is 3rd. He is 8th overall. Lane Michael, 4th in the XC2 Pro Lights class, is 9th overall. And Daniel Milner, the Australian there on the Infab Am Pro Yamaha, he is XC1 bike rider, and I believe that puts him in 6th place of the XC1 Pro class, even though 10th overall.
Rodney, you know, as we just watched on screen here, as you were saying that, we've actually had quite a shakeup in the XC2 class. It is Lane Michael now who is up to the 2nd place in XC2.
Wow.
It is Nick Davis, who's now in 3rd place in the XC2, and Trevor Bollinger back to 4th. Now, again, Bollinger did have fresh goggles. He had a water bottle hanging from his mouth, which leads me to believe that he stopped, got some goggles, got a water bottle, and maybe even some fuel. Now, those three were very close together. They were all within 5 seconds of each other, but nonetheless, Bollinger back to 4th. 3rd place is Davis, and 2nd place is, in fact, the 523 that we just had an interview with a little bit ago there, Lane Michael. So he's on the charge. He's up into 2nd. We'll have to see if any of the 3 of those guys have anything at all for our leader, the number 19 Beta of Jesse Grom.
I'll tell you, it's exciting to know that as we approach the halfway point of this season that we still have room for a lot of change, and riders are still searching out there, and we still haven't seen that everybody has offered and shown us everything they have to offer out there. So this is even more excitement and fuel for my fans' fire right here, I think, for GNCC Racing to see these types of things happening on a day like today, because this is rather inspiring, like I said, from a fan standpoint.
Yeah, absolutely. You know, as a fan, you got to believe when you see these guys out there battling, and whoever your favorite is, when you see 3 guys like that nose to tail, or, you know, even what we see over the 2nd place position right now with Thad Duvall, a rider who had to miss our last race after an injury, you know, for him to come up and be right back into podium contention. We know Bad Thad is in fact bad fast, but you know, he's great in these kind of conditions. Look how many times Thad Duvall has won races or had great podium rides in these sloppy, muddy, slick conditions, and you know, he's proven it again here today that he is the type of rider that can excel in these conditions.
For sure, and he's proven once again he's also a fan favorite. I don't know if you were listening on the starting line during Pro Rider introductions, but he always seems to be one of the riders that the crowd really gets behind. I mean, there's a lot of Thad Duvall fans out there, and he always gets the loudest support, even of your champions, which is always, I think, pretty interesting. It goes to show you, man, good personality. The kid really connects, I think, with the average and general folks that come out here to the races.
He's definitely exciting. You got to give him that one way or another. You know, Thad. We've seen some. At some point, I think we could create a highlight reel of Thad Duvall moments of, you know, things that he's done on a motorcycle. I mean, his talent is second to none. His flow on the motorcycle when he's feeling it is second to none, and his crashes, unfortunately, when he does them, are second to none. I mean, he's throttled to the stops. That's how he rides, and you know, you got to love him for it. He's a product of GNCC Racing. He's come all the way up from, you know, his dad racing in the XC1 ATV class years ago. Thad riding around on a little KX60, you know, just kind of getting his feet wet, literally, and you know, he's become one of the greatest off-road motorcycle racers in the world.
And he's also part of the ISDE team, the trophy team again this year, as Auntie Collin announced in the special report leading into today's race. He is actually the veteran rider on the team, and he is going to be along with Taylor Robert. Also, Ryan Sipes is going to be returning, and also Caleb Russell going to be going on the trophy team next year. Also, some other changes. You know, I only mentioned 4 names. We're usually used to hearing, like 6 or 7 different names whenever we start talking about that. They've reduced the team sizes down this year in the trophy team to 4 riders and 3 riders for the junior trophy team, which Stu Baylor, I think, is going to be a part of, Grant Baylor, and totally eludes
Trevor
me.
Bollinger.
Trevor
perhaps?
Bollinger. That's
I
it.
didn't
No,
know that. I was just
no, that's
guessing.
it. That's
They would definitely have been remiss to leave him off
No,
the
that
team
is
the way he's riding. So perfect.
Nailed
it. I guess I know more than I think I do.
So those are the junior and trophy teams, and you're right, Trevor. It was Trevor Bollinger. So folks can go back on the archive version and watch the lead into this and get that full announcement. But some pretty neat things coming up as far as this year's ISDE is concerned. It's going to be happening in Navarre, Spain, in October.
Always exciting to see our boys go across the pond or wherever it is, and you know, see what they can do. Last year, obviously, with the Ryan Sipes, you know, excellent performance he put in, becoming the first American to ever win the individual overall at the ISDE after so many years of trying, starting back in the days of, you know, the Pentons and, you know, those guys really putting so much into American off-road and starting brands because of it, which ultimately became KTM. So, you know, it's crazy how things evolve over time. And, you know, a few years ago, we did have that movie come out about John Penton. And, you know, for these guys all these years later to still put their heart and soul into representing America, you know, it really shows how much off-roading means to America. And, you know, nowadays Americans are big contributors in the off-road world.
Most definitely, most definitely. And I'm just thinking about it right now. It makes me pretty excited, no doubt, at the possibilities and the chances that certainly lie ahead here with the ISDE coming up later this year. Right now, though, we are looking at about 57.5 minutes into this race here. It's the Camp Coker Bullet GNCC, round 5 of the GNCC series. And, of course, Caleb Russell, Jordan Ashburn, Thad Duvall, Chris Bach, Jesse Grom, your XC2 Pro Lights leader, rounds out your top 5. GNCC Live continues after this.
If you love the outdoors, then you'll love all the variety of sporting options at Maury's Sportsman's Preserve. From Maury's world-class upland bird hunting to year-round sporting clays to seasonal hunting opportunities for duck, hog, and deer, Maury's Sportsman's Preserve offers all these hunting activities without a large financial investment. Maury's also offers golf packages and corporate outings as well. For more information on Maury's Sportsman's Preserve, visit online at mauryspreserve.com.
When it comes to protecting your engine, AMSOIL offers the next level performance truck owners demand. AMSOIL provides 75% more engine protection against horsepower loss and wear than required by a leading industry standard, extending the life of pistons and cams. Give the vehicle you love the above and beyond fortification it deserves. AMSOIL, devoted to protection.
Maxxis Tires.
Here at Rocky Mountain ATV MC, our goal has always been to get you the best price and provide quality service. Now, we're giving you one more reason to shop with Rocky Mountain. We call it Quick Cash. It's simple to get. Just place an order with a qualifying Quick Cash item and get cash to spend on your next order. Try it out today. RockyMountainATVMC.com. Get ready.
The Andersons discovered life is easier with an Outlaw RV. The Outlaw is a complete home on wheels with a multifunctional garage. Getting on the road has never been quicker. The Outlaw is made to fit the lifestyle of today's active families. So stop roughing it and start enjoying your weekends. Find the Thor Motor Coach Outlaw that fits your needs at GarageRVs.com today.
I'm a sore loser.
I'm a sore loser. Losing is not an option for me.
Be the best.
The best? The best. You have to have the best equipment under the hood. That's why I only use
Cometic products in my engines.
Cometic gasket. Cometic gasket. Cometic gasket.
Cometic gasket, a superior quality gasket
for those of us who demand the highest level of performance.
And welcome back to GNCC Live here from Camp Coker and the Camp Coker Bullet GNCC. And we want to know, how do you GNCC Live? Instagram a picture of how you're watching GNCC Live for a chance to win an event t-shirt courtesy of Moto Tees. And hashtag it GNCC Live so they all trend together. We'll pick a winner at random and award you that later on. Also, the AMSOIL Twitter contest. Don't forget to tweet your podium finish predictions and hashtag them GNCC Live for a chance to win $250 AMSOIL product. Two great contests, two great opportunities to play along. Also want to remind folks, next Saturday we're going to be heading to the Ironman Raceway, home of the Ironman GNCC, for a mid-spring or late spring stop, I guess you could say, for the Ironman ATV Motocross. It'll be round number 4 of the ATV Motocross Nationals, and actually 5 for the AMA Pro ATV riders, and they'll be taken to the racetrack out there, of course, next Saturday. And then the following Saturday we'll be heading to the Limestone, also over there in Indiana, for the Limestone 100 GNCC ATV racing on Saturday the 14th, bikes on Sunday the 15th. And then Saturday, May 21st, High Point ATV Motocross. So a couple of ATV motocrosses coming up over the course. Actually, RacerTV is going to be a lot of things going on over the course of the next 4 weeks, looks like.
Yeah, absolutely. You know, a lot of racing action brought to the race fans, and that's what RacerTV is all about. Obviously, tune into RacerTV.com. You're here watching GNCC Live with us right now. Next Saturday, make sure you set an alarm on your phone. You can watch the best ATV motocross pilots in the world go head-to-head. Obviously, it's been a feverish battle so far. That's not good. I thought that might have been one of our top riders, but it looks like it's one of the KR4 Ride riders, but it is not Thad Duvall. I see a 60 helmet there. It's one of the...
Look at track conditions right now. Look how deep those ruts are getting right there. That's one of those low-lying areas that it looks like that they might have, that might be a new part of the track. I don't see any ATV trail through there.
Yeah, that was actually part of the track that I don't believe we did run. We came down and we made a left there.
Right.
I'm familiar with that section of the track, but these guys obviously making a right. There's AG, one of the KTM guys. He's down in there taking a look to make sure that once Caleb Russell gets there, he doesn't go ahead and bury himself in that hole. He's going to take a look at some alternate lines there.
Wow, 3 minutes and 20 seconds into this race now. Actually, we're looking at probably an hour and 3 minutes and 20 seconds. Yeah, that's exactly what we're looking at.
There is Chris Bach on screen, so I don't know if we did see. There is Caleb Russell in the finish line chicanes.
Wow.
So he's a good little ways ahead of Chris Bach, who is out in the field and has a ways to go to get to this section of the track we're watching here. Caleb Russell taking a look over, and you have to wonder, he seems to be riding with a bit of urgency. You have to wonder if he has gotten word that perhaps one of these guys is reeling him in. He looked like he was a little bit, was I wrong, or did he look like he was really kind of feverishly charging through those sections? He keeps taking a look over. He must think somebody's closing in on him. Maybe he knows something we don't.
Yeah, maybe we might find out here in just a moment, too. Remember, Russell had nearly a minute lead over Jordan Ashburn at last check, and maybe that's what he's doing, trying to see. Maybe he thinks one of these other riders might be Ashburn closing up on him. So
yeah, as I scan, unless we've missed Ashburn, these are
Moto
definitely
Pro there.
not. There is Jordan Ashburn. So that still looks to be, by the time he works his way through these chicanes, I'm going to say that's going to be somewhere around that minute mark that we had seen last on screen. I know it was 19 seconds the last time they checked in at the finish line. Clearly we can see that it's much more than that. He's got a shadow still. Is that? Yes, it is. The number 5 of Thad Duvall, that KR4 Husky, he is still in the third place spot, eating a lot of roost from Jordan Ashburn.
Man, so I guess Thad's okay with that because he's not relinquishing the pressure any whatsoever as we check in. The gap now 56 seconds, so we are right in the neighborhood of that 1 minute mark. 21:42 for Caleb Russell as far as lap times are concerned, a 22:20. That explains the tape there and how that big stretch got out. But here's the interesting part. Thad Duvall, a 22:01, 19 seconds faster than Ashburn, so that cut that 20-second gap that they had heading into lap number 3 down to now about 2 seconds or so between the guys. So Chris Bach should be seeing that rider check in. Well, he was just 6 seconds behind at last check.
There he is on screen. We see the number 4 JCR Honda, Chris Bach. Again, that left handguard missing. He's definitely lost some time. As you said, he was 6 seconds behind in third this lap. He is in fourth still. We did not see Josh Strang yet. Chris Bach, again, without goggles. But he has definitely lost some time. He is upwards of a minute behind that battle of Ashburn and Duvall over that second place position. So Bach in fourth, and at the time, not in striking distance of a podium. We'll have to see what he can do here over the next lap or so and see if he can close that gap up at all.
103 is the gap between Chris Bach and third place Thad Duvall, who again is only 2 seconds behind Jordan Ashburn. They are 56 seconds behind Caleb Russell at this point, who is leading this event. Big question now is about 55 seconds back the last lap. Josh Strang was checking in behind Chris Bach with Jesse Grom right on his rear wheel. All right, we got us an update coming in, and we're going to pick this. Go ahead, update.
At the end of the field section, I just saw Josh Strang's bike shut off, and he's been been fiddling with it for about a minute now, and it's still not running.
Oh, mercy. That's not a good thing. Then thanks a lot, Jacob Beck. Keep us updated on that if you would, please.
Yeah, will do, Rodney.
Jacob Beck, one of our technical guys. I tell you, he is a honestly, a real utility type guy that we've got there, man. That kid is amazing and really helping out and keeping this show on the air. That's it. As our producer, Price Harden, says, he says he's our freight train and we're the caboose, because he barrels his way through there and makes sure that this show gets on. So way to go, Jacob, and thanks for keeping us up to date on that. Meanwhile, checking in, Jesse Grom has checked in. Josh Strang obviously did not, so now physically on the racetrack, 5th place and on adjusted time is Jesse Grom, the number 19 machine out of Forked River, New Jersey. He's your XC2 Pro Lights class leader, and he's looking to make a little history for himself here today. Stu Baylor checks in 6th place overall, which puts him in 5th in class now. Daniel Milner has dropped now to the 7th place overall, 6th place position behind Stu Baylor. Baylor, by the way, at 23.04, Milner at 23.23, so that kind of explains the tale of that. Doesn't look like Baylor is going to be able to catch any of the front runners right yet, but we are seeing some good consistent runs out of Stu Baylor, and that's a positive to see him be able to run consistent like this. And that's, I mean, even though he hasn't gotten and posted the results he wants with wins and seconds and thirds and stuff all season long, we're seeing some big strides out of this kid, to be honest with you.
Yeah, absolutely. You know, and to see, oh, there we see Jordan Ashburn. Did we miss Caleb Russell?
I'm positive.
Okay, he must have come through. We did miss him there. So in 2nd place, there is Jordan Ashburn. But we are missing Thad Duvall. That does not look like him. So Jordan Ashburn made the stop last lap, got those fresh goggles. You got to believe that maybe Thad Duvall.
And, you know, it's a possibility.
I think this is Thad Duvall right now. I hear a bike that looks like it's charging. There is Thad Duvall.
Uh-oh.
And hold on, he's got a rider hot on his heels. That's
got to be Chris. Well, Bach was the next guy in line. But
that is Stu Baylor.
How'd that happen? Baylor. Well, I tell you, a lot of things crazy happening out there.
No, that is not possible. That's 1 minute and 40 seconds. That may have been Corey Buttrick, who is a lap down. I was going to say, Stu Baylor could not have made up 1 minute and 40 seconds in that amount of track.
I was going back to what in the world's going on, man. He found the wormhole out there, too. Been able to ride warp speed. We saw that with Daniel Milner, you know. All right, we got an update coming in. Go ahead, update.
Josh Strang finally got his bike rolling just a few moments ago, and he's back rolling now.
Tim Ford, does he look like he's rolling back into the race or heading toward the pits?
Look, he was on the gas, so I'm thinking that he's back in the race.
10-4. Oh, tough break for Josh. I mean, there's a number of things that could probably answer the question as to what happened, but I'd almost have to think that probably a little bit of water intake in there might have slowed him down a little bit.
Yeah, it could have been that, or, you know, these bikes are going to be running really hot today with those radiators packed up like we talked about. So what happens is, as long as they're running, that's okay. But the moment they stall, they don't want to refire. So, you know, these teams are going to take the extra time when they come in for fuel, for goggles, any of that stuff. They're going to be doing everything they can to try and cool those bikes down, spraying off the engine, spraying out the radiators. There is Caleb Russell, our race leader. Last we saw, he had just about a minute on the number 7 of Jordan Ashburn, who we'll be waiting and watching for. I did not catch the exact time on screen. Perhaps Price in the booth did.
It's
so we'll
15.
get an update from him. So he was 1:10.11 at the Rocky Mountain banner. So we'll wait and we'll watch, and we'll watch for the number 7 of Jordan Ashburn as he comes through. We'll watch as he passes this Rocky Mountain banner. So at 41, we're now at 30 seconds, and that is not Jordan Ashburn. We've got a couple of lapped riders working their way through, and still no Ashburn. So we're at 40 seconds now, and still waiting and watching. So I think we're
still going to be, I think, in that minute-plus range. If you want to know the truth, I would think that would be the case.
We're at 50 seconds now, so you're right, Rodney. It looks like we're still going to be at that minute. So although Jordan Ashburn riding hard, really trying to make the most of the conditions in the race today, right at exactly a minute. Yeah, he has not lost any time. Doesn't seem to be doing anything to lose time, but unfortunately, as hard as he's pushing, it seems like Caleb Russell is matching his every attack and keeping that gap right there about a minute. So he's got that comfortable gap, 4 laps in, just barely over an hour of racing in, and these guys have managed that gap. Now here we see the number 5 of Thad Duvall, currently rounding out the podium places in 3rd. Looks like he is about 40 seconds back. Is that right?
Yeah,
that was quite a gap back, and there is still Corey Buttrick. That looks a lot like Stu Baylor there behind him, but we think that is in fact Buttrick. So that
I don't know which one you just insulted.
That clears. No, I don't.
I know. I'm just
they
playing.
ride for the same team. They wear the same gear. They're on the same bike. They look a lot alike.
They do. They have a lot of the same body style and stuff. I was just playing with you, but
try and get me in trouble. Oh, look at that! And that's what can happen so quick out there. A good line. He charged into it, came to a stop, and he really came to a stop quickly. Smashed his area off of the gas tank and sat there for just a little bit, and that's what can happen so quickly when you've got these amateurs mixed in. You know, they pick a line that looks to be good, and one of the XC1 or XC2 guys behind them hits it hard, and they're committed and they're stuck behind them.
Yeah, that takes a lot away. Sometimes can slow some momentum down and change the face of things. But right now we're looking at this race, and maybe a little difference than what you're expecting, but you got to look at the big picture. We got 4 riders. Mercy sakes. That's how you get stuck in one of those deep ruts right there. Front fender deep. He can't get out of there. But we got 4 riders that aren't on the pro row this week that we would have expected to see. First and foremost, Hot Rod Charlie Mullins announcing his retirement earlier this week after a visit to the doctor, and it looked like they figured out that maybe it would be best to go ahead and call it retirement, so that's what they've done. As Charlie said, don't pity me because I've accomplished a lot as a motorcycle racer. And though it didn't come necessarily on his own terms, Charlie is a very accomplished, and he has a lot rider, and he has a lot to be proud of everything that he has accomplished: national enduro championships and titles, as well as GNCC titles. So really it's a tough day to hear that news, but we wish Charlie Mullins the best in the future. Also, we see that not with us today, I think Jason Thomas out with a concussion. Grant Baylor is out. We got Brandon Hartramp, who's a 2-time Loretta Lynn's champion from last year, coming up and riding on the NFAB and Pro Yamaha team in Baylor's place today. He's riding on board the number 60 out there, his first GNCC Woods race. But anyway, Grant Baylor's not able to be with us, so that's Grant. That's Thomas, and Charlie Mullins, and the 4th rider is, I had it right on the tip of my tongue there, Ryan Sipes. He broke his finger last weekend, so he is not able to make the show here today. So that's 4 big players really in the game of GNCC out here that aren't even on the starting line. So we may see a little difference in the overall finishes, but right now, you got Russell, Ashburn, Duvall, and Bach. Then we have a whole. There's Strang. He has look at him go, man. He is really pushing with, I wouldn't call it a sense of urgency, but with some dedication right now anyway.
He is, but man, he is a ways back. He has definitely fallen outside of the top 10 overall, and possibly outside of the top 20, which again puts him back in that situation we talked about early in the first lap of really trying to salvage points today. So Strang going to be on the charge. Remember, every point within the top 20 goes up by 1, with points starting with 1 point for 20th place on up through 30 points for the win. So your top 4 places pay bonus points with 5 points for the win, 4 points bonus for second, 3 points bonus for third, and 2 bonus points for that 4th place spot. So with those points paying the way they are, it's really going to be a stretch for Strang to get up into one of those top 4 spots to pay bonus points, but he really does need to get up as far as he can and salvage as many points as possible to try and stay in this championship chase hunt. You know, one thing I do need to look at here on screen, at the finish we did have Jesse Grom still leading the way, but 48 seconds behind him only was Lane Michael,
right,
and only 2 seconds behind him was Nick Davis. I got to tell you, at this point when we're watching here in the woods, I did not see Jesse Grom come through, but again, there was big groups of riders, and it was actually Nick Davis, the first XC1 rider I saw, with second place was in fact, well, not second, the second rider I saw was Lane Michael was right behind him. So I have to wonder, did we lose Jesse Grom from that battle, or did we just miss him on screen? Again, with these conditions, it's hard to tell.
Well, you're talking about Lane Michael there, and Lane, man, is really laying it down. Good to see, that they have Found out the issues that he was suffering from earlier in the year and leading up to this point. And, you know, he's a part of a big team over there with that new Coastal Husqvarna team. And the really neat thing about that is that, you know, they've got a good field of riders there. They host, obviously, Ryan Sipes is an XC1 rider, but they also have 2 XC2 Pro Lights class riders. So, you know, you wonder what it'd be like to be on a team with 2 premier XC2 Pro Lights riders. Well, we had a chance to catch up with those 2 XC2 Pro Lights riders.
It's pretty sweet. You know, I didn't really know what to expect at first. I heard about a lot of rumors last year at the end of the year about a new team starting up, and didn't really think much of it. And then I got a call from Barry about coming on to the team and being a part of it. So it's been good so far. You know, everything with a new team, you know, it comes a little slow, but now we're a few rounds in, everything's going good, and everything's good. So it's good to have a teammate like Lane too. When we go out and ride and test, it's fun.
Yeah, so the team's been awesome. You know, when they approached me at the beginning of the year, I knew it was going to be a good program, and you know, they've got everything together for us, and you know, it's up to the riders. We have all the right tools and parts to make us a champion. So it's been good. You know, Ryan and I, we became pretty good friends the past couple of years, and Craig, you know, he's a really good kid as well. So yeah, Craig's riding really well. You know, I think he's podium 2 or 3 rounds as well. So it's good. I mean, it keeps the competition level good, even under the same team. But you know, he's a real good kid, and it's not like you got to worry about you know, him getting mad at you for something. I mean, he's real down there. So it's good to have good teammates, and like I said, hopefully we're both up on the podium again this weekend.
Well, that's good to see the camaraderie of that, and Lane and both, I think DeLong are both really good choices for the team. And, you know, as we know, Lane had the illustrious youth career, and a lot of folks looking for things out of him. He kind of hasn't produced what I think a lot of folks had expected as soon as what that he could produce, but I think that he will eventually produce. He's just kind of hit one of those, I think, times in his career where he's just trying to search and find what really suits and fits him best. And I think we might be seeing that comfort zone finally found. And now that it is, it could be a whole new Lane Michael. So looking at this now, we see that, again, I was talking there a moment ago, our top 4, Russell, Ashburn, Duvall, and Bach. Those are 4 physically on the racetrack, and then Jesse Grom was physically 5th on the racetrack. Our time adjustments have things kind of seeming discombobulated a little bit if you look at it, but it really makes sense. But we got 4 of our XC2 Pro Lights riders running 5th, 6th, 7th, and 8th. That was Grom, Michael, Davis, and Bollinger. And then Stu Baylor was 9th overall, but he is actually 5th in the XC1 Pro class. A minute and 40 seconds down, like we had said just a few moments ago. But still, he's got a top 5 in class. That's pretty good, but these guys are after overall results, Johnny.
Yeah, absolutely. You know, these guys are, the points are paid, you know, for the number that goes on your bike by your overall finish, and that's what these guys are fighting for. You know, it's definitely, conditions are treacherous out there, and it's leading for some good racing action. You know, things seem to be going fairly easy for Caleb Russell out front, but everybody else behind him is really in a battle.
Yeah, and other guys are really struggling a whole lot.
Yeah, like this guy here, he's struggling. He's stuck in a rut, and he's looking at that mud, how it's starting to tack
look
up.
How
and
deep it
look,
is.
it's just sucked that bike down in there. He picks it up, and it sucks it right back down.
Yeah, it does.
Hey, Johnny, that's about the 3rd bike we've seen basically in that hole right there. The first guy was fender deep. Now, if you remember, just maybe 3 minutes into the race, you and I, one of the first guys we watched, man, comes to a seemingly shallow hole, and that guy was almost over the wheel. So very deceptive out there with the depth of some of this soft ground. May not have standing water, but when you put the power on top of this surface, you're just going to dig down below, and you're just going to sink, and these holes are out there existing, and you can't even see them.
Yeah, absolutely. You know, there's so much of oh, and we're seeing a new line there on the inside, so they're just making lines as they go, and that's what you got to do if you want to get through there. You got to just keep creating new lines, because once one gets chewed out, you got to go on to the next one.
Well, the 117 there, this is how he GNCC lives, unfortunately for him. He's watching from the side of the track.
That's cold, Rodney. That's cold.
But we want to know how your GNCC live. And take a picture, Instagram a picture of you watching GNCC and hashtag it GNCC Live. We're going to start getting some of those photos up here in a few moments. Look at that coming out of the woods, laying that bike down.
You know, it was amazing. When the rain first started, Johnny, it just, as you know, went from nothing, went from a sprinkle to a torrential downpour. And within 10 minutes, we literally had a human chain dragging bikes up over that little finish line hill, a seemingly easy hill. But with that amount of rain that quick, it just got so slick. And then the ruts down at the bottom, riders weren't being able to get lined up. And it just changed the face of this track literally within 10 minutes.
Yeah, it's crazy how, you know, that rain came in and it was so... It was so brutal. It just came down so hard. The wind, the rain, you know, the lightning. It got so crazy. And I don't know. I'm not a weatherman. I don't know what the device they use to measure the rain gauge, I believe it's called. I don't have a rain gauge here, but nonetheless, I could tell you it was a considerable amount of rain in a very short amount of time, and the ground just was not able to soak it up. But we can see here with the sun out and this sandy surface, it's starting to soak in. Out in the open, it's getting a little bit better. In the trees down in there, in the darkness, that cave that we see in front of us, not so much. It's still a little gnarly down there, and a lot of the guys are starting to, you know, we did see Josh Strang obviously having some troubles. Did he ever check in there at the end of lap number 3?
You know, it's amazing. Every time we go to a new shot, there's somebody laying down in the picture. Every time we go to a new camera shot, there's somebody picking themselves up.
Well, to answer your question, yes, he did check in with a third lap complete. He checked in at 8th place in class. He was 20. Wow. Ryan Eccles, one of our new trail bosses there. And
I'm not exactly sure what that was, but we'll just go ahead and skip by. So now we see these guys out in the open field section again, and you know, they come out of this darkness, and the sunshine and the drier dirt has to be a welcome sight. After we see this guy pitching his goggles, he says, "Look, enough's enough." But look at this guy, hard on the gas, the #1 FMF KTM, pulling the roll-offs. He's still got vision. Those Scott roll-offs really doing their job there today. And look at this guy, he's absolutely flying. He says, "It's muddy. I don't know. Seems all right to me." Get out of the way. Caleb Russell coming through.
Hey, Johnny, that goes to prove the point. The best way to ride the mud is attack it. That's exactly what Caleb's doing right now. Weight is up, centered over the bike. The elbows were up. The head was forward. And, man, that throttle was locked. If we notice the riders see come by, the handlebars were shaking. They had a little wobble going on because they weren't under power. They weren't charging. Here we are, lap number 4. Your leader comes through, throwing the roost up over the bars. And you know what? Riding like it's dry, just like you said, Johnny.
Hold on just a minute. That is not 1 minute. Much closer is the #7 Westfield Power Sports KTM of Jordan Ashburn. He is 20 seconds or so behind the #1 machine of Caleb Russell, so he's really closed the gap up. We noted how it looked as though he has really charged hard, but apparently it is, in fact, there is the 3rd place ride now of Thad Duvall. Both these guys, we may have a 3-rider battle for the lead here before we know it.
Exactly, and here's something else, an interesting point to ponder there, Johnny G. I don't know if you read my quick fill contribution this week, but First to First was the title of my contribution this week, talking about first-time winners at first-time events. And this could be setting the stage for something like that, possibly to come into play there, as I believe this could be possibly, if I'm not mistaken, if he was able to pull it off, his first win for Jordan Ashburn. If he being at a first-time event, that would be a pretty spectacular thing. He's closing in on Caleb Russell. We're not going to give him the win just yet, but hey, man, that possibility is starting to present itself a little bit.
Yeah, absolutely. You know, these guys are really battling hard here. We could see a 3-rider battle for the lead. And, man, look at how gnarly this is getting down in here. You know, we've got 2 laps of racing remaining. And, well, actually, I believe we're going to see a white flag here in just a moment.
Yeah, we are. It's a 6-lap race, according to what they're telling us. And we're looking at lap times of about 22 minutes, about 22 minutes on average. And so you times that times 6. That's going to be just a little over the 2-hour mark, probably about 2 hours and 10 minutes or so, 15 minutes.
Just about. Hey, Johnny, what I was going to comment on right there, when you just said wow, and you saw that rider getting up out of that hole right there, what a change in the mud we've seen in 30 minutes. It went from soupy. This stuff was so soupy. It was just like chocolate milk, running off of your bike a minute ago. But as the sun came out, this stuff started to thicken up now. Now it's getting a consistency like concrete, like cement mix almost.
Yeah.
So we went from a soupy chocolate milk type consistency to all of a sudden something really boggy, something really sticky, and got a lot of suction to it right now, really dragging these guys down.
A lot of suction. And you know there's a lot of ponds. Like right here, this area right here, there's ponds all around this, and that right there was designed to be a pond. They've taken the dike out of it and drained it, but you can see it holds water right there.
No doubt, Rodney. It's 30 feet below the surface around it. So guess where all that water went? It went right down the bottom. And as those riders were coming along in our AM race this morning, man, oh man, it was just follow the leader because that stuff piled up so deep. And when those bikes were playing follow the leader, you can see the ruts they developed.
Yeah.
Those guys were over frame deep within a matter of 5 minutes, pushing bike after bike out at the foot pegs.
Interesting point here. Caleb Russell checked in 24 seconds late. A 22:26 lap time is what he turned there that time. So that certainly changes the face of things there for that. And that's, I think, a pretty interesting point to point out there. So that right there will certainly, I think, give us a lot of the tail of the tape as to why and how Jordan Ashburn may have closed up that gap that we were talking about, and not may have, but it is from a minute gap. 21.2 seconds now is all we're looking at as the gap. So Caleb Russell, whether he got stuck, got behind lap traffic or whatever, Jordan Ashburn closing up the gap.
Let me tell you something, Ronnie. It's game on right now. Ashburn's determined. I don't know what the case is, who slowed up or who got faster, but I want to tell you something. The gap has been cut down dramatically, and here we are on lap number 5, so it's go time.
It is go time. 4 laps down. Caleb Russell, Jordan Ashburn, and Thad Duvall. 1, 2, and 3. 12 seconds back to Duvall off of Ashburn, so he's staying in the hunt and thick of things, and I believe that was Bach coming through there, if I'm not mistaken. Chris Bach in 4th. Now a minute and 11 seconds down. He's remaining pretty consistent on that time frame that he is looking at, so he settled into a good solid pace for 4th place today, and depending on what happens ahead of him, might see things different. Now, Jesse Grom was physically the 5th place rider on the track and on adjusted time there just a few moments ago, and as we continue to watch here at the finish line, and through the pro pits, we'll be keeping an eye on the scoring computer to see whether or not Grom has checked in. Now, how much longer before we expect Jesse to check in? That's the big question right now. And according to timing and scoring, he's still about a minute and a half out. 2-lap card is out, so we're working on lap number 5. We'll take the, yeah, that'll work. Lap number 5 is what we're working on. We just wrapped up lap number 4. Bach in the pits. There's some goggle change going on. They're spraying out the radiator there with the power washer. He's getting a quick drink, and see our old Johnny G gone down there to help out. He'll have, I'm sure, a pretty good story as to what's going on. They're trying to get that machine cooled back off there, but there's one thing that Johnny was talking about a moment ago. They get hot like that, they shut down. They're hard to get started back up.
Let me tell you something, Rodney. You have no idea how much work goes into figuring out how to start these machines just right, whether it's cold or hot. And once these things do get to these kind of temperatures and you do have those radiators packed and they're holding that heat, man, it's a certain technique that for each different bike. And right now these guys trying to push Chris Bach to get him going.
Well, I don't know what that's going to do as far as overall adjusted time, but it could certainly change the face of it as Bach finally gets going out there. It looks like Matt... heartbreaker, tough break there for him. He's riding a good, steady, consistent race. I'm not saying that he won't continue to do so, but that time loss might cost him a position overall.
Rodney, just an example of how things happen in different conditions. You know, Bach riding extremely strong, extremely smart today, riding in a good position. Pulled into the pits, get some goggles, and get a splash of gas to make it to the end. Bike won't restart under no fault of his own.
Right. And that's a tough one to have to swallow. But I tell you, he's good about putting his head down and charging as we are in the last couple of laps. 2-lap board is out, so it's a 6-lap race. I want to take this opportunity right now to run down and check in with some of these other classes real quick. But I'll let you know, Jesse Grom did just check in the XC2 Pro Lights. He was physically, again, 5th on the racetrack. His lap time, 23:25. That's a full minute slower than Caleb Russell, but that goes to show you these conditions can do some crazy things. A full minute slower than your leader, but he's still top 5 overall right now, and that's after time adjustment.
Wow, that's an incredible statement right there, Rodney. When you put that into perspective, that tells you exactly what's happening on the track today.
Oh, yeah. So we only got 21 seconds between 1st and 2nd. Duvall is only 12 seconds behind Ashburn right now. The big gap, though, is the one between 3rd and 4th with Bach, a minute and 11 and a half seconds when they came through the finish line. However, the issues there in the pits cost him a little more. Now, if we look at adjusted time, how much time did Chris Bach have over Jesse Grom, and will this tighten things up? Elapsed time was 1 hour, 28 minutes, and 4 seconds for Chris Bach, 1 hour, 29 minutes, and 32 seconds. So that was in the neighborhood of about a minute and a half. I'm not sure if Bach was slowed down that long or not, but if that's the case, he may have just relinquished that fourth place overall position, but it's going to be close.
I can tell you it's going to be real close. Unfortunately, he did spend way more time than he wanted to in there. They ended up pushing that bike to get it started. So that could be a deciding factor right there as this race winds down.
It most certainly can. I want to take a look at these top 10 again. Russell, Ashburn, Duvall, Bach, Grom. Stu Baylor checks in 6th place now after time adjustments, so he's moving up physically and on time adjustments. His lap time at 21:41. 22 minutes and 41 seconds behind Chris Bach is where he's at, but his lap time at 23:11. Caleb Russell cross-strutting and skating his way through this section of the racetrack that we're watching here. I'm thinking, trying to remember where that is. Got another rider, Infab Impro Yamaha, in the pits there. There's another rider buried up over his front wheel into the fender. His fender there. We got alternate lines that these guys are trying to get around some of the racetrack on, and those alternate lines that they were searching for that at one time were a little smoother are now starting to swallow them. So, man, I love the challenges that this racetrack is presenting today.
You know, Rodney, this unique set of circumstances, we have a brand new course, the weather, different riders in the mix here today, all because of these things. And as you mentioned, these guys going fender deep and front wheel deep in the alternate lines, guess what? It's not an alternate line anymore. Everybody started using it 3 laps ago, so now it becomes the bad line.
All right, looks like we're going to be looking and seeing here in just a moment the battle between Ashburn and Duvall. They just went through this shot. They were basically nose to tail. They were 12 seconds separating. Now they're nose to tail out there. I tell you, we see Ashburn is on the gas, but does that mean that Duvall's a little bit harder on the gas? Lap times tell us, no. Duvall a 22:01 last time around. Ashburn a 21:51. That was 10 seconds different lap time on them. But now Duvall, so either something has happened to Ashburn and he's lost a little bit of time, which could be a big break for Caleb Russell if they're closing in on him. But if not, then Thad Duvall is really picking up the pace here.
Yeah, it's a situation, Rodney, where maybe one guy's faster on one part of the track than the other, but we're talking about a good bit of time right here that's happened pretty quick, and I don't know exactly what to attribute that to, but as you mentioned, either Jordan has slowed down or Thad has picked the pace up in a very short amount of time.
Right, and we're going to find out. I think we'll figure that out here pretty soon. By the way, so with the changes here, so Stu Baylor is 6th overall, Lane Michael 7th overall, 2nd in the XC2 Pro Lights class. He's a minute and 26 seconds behind Grom right now. Nick Davis is 3rd, 3 seconds behind Lane Michael. Daniel Milner is 9th overall right now. Benjamin Kelly, XC2 Pro Lights, 3rd place out of Hawinton, Connecticut. There's a new name for us. Wow. Out of Connecticut, doing well in the sands of South Carolina there, Megawatt. That's pretty impressive. He's 3rd right now. We might have a new face on the podium today.
Tells me that guy might go do some riding over in New England there and such, and you got a good bit of sandy surface up there. But you know what? Definitely getting it done here today.
Instagram a picture of how you're watching GNCC live right now. Go ahead and do it, folks. We're going to start. We're going to at least show the winner here shortly, and if you never know, you might get one on there regardless. Even if we don't, if it's interesting enough, we'll see them. We will. Also, hashtag at GNCC Live. Don't forget also our podium predictions contest. Who do you think is going to take the top 3 overall? Hashtag at GNCC Live. Send it to us, and we'll pick a winner and give you $250 in AMSOIL product.
That contest has been rough on a personal level between Johnny and I this year. Not averaging too good there, my man, with our picks. So just tells you the unpredictability about GNCC racing.
It does.
And a prime example of that here today.
It is. And I'm going to take a look real quick at the way things are breaking down. Pro Class, we've been talking a lot about the overall, but Pro Class is Russell, Ashburn, Duvall. Bach is 4th. Uh-oh, look at this. What's going on? Is that Trevor Bollinger, isn't it? Trevor Bollinger in the pits right now. Megawatt's heading over right now to find out what's going on. What a heartbreaker for this rider, a rider that has been so consistent, so strong, and winning so convincingly, even getting the 3rd place position overall so far this year, and he is totally out of the race. I mean, You can tell there's a lot of frustration in the in the body language of what Trevor Bollinger is admitting right now, and a true heartbreaker for this rider. And you got to wonder, is mechanical conditions or mechanical problems, which wouldn't be surprising on a day like today. The mud packing in, we've already talked about that. They could overheat, so there's a lot of variables that could come into play as far as why Trevor Bollinger is out real quick. But continuing along until Megawatt makes his way down there. Russell Duvall, Ashburn Duvall, Bach, Baylor in 5th. Daniel Milner is 6th in class. Is Josh Strang 7th in class. Chris Douglas 8th. Ricky Russell 9th. Corey Buttrick rounds out the top 10. And our motocross visitor, his debut in GNCC racing, running back at 11th out of Brick, New Jersey, Brandon Hartranft. Open B bike class. We'll take a look at some of the B classes right now. Dominic Jarvis, Craig Taft, also Zach Perry, Devin Newkirk, and Jared Shiley, your top 5 in the Open B class. As we look next at the 250 B class, Martinsville, Indiana's Cody Aliff leading Nick O'Brien out of Chillicothe, Ohio. Matthew Davis out of Pennsylvania is running 3rd. James Harshberger out of Fairmont, West Virginia, 4th. And little Timmy Steiner got the whole shot. And event in New York is rounding out the top 5 in the 250B class. As we look next to the 200B class, Johnny Manera.
Hey, Rodney.
Go ahead. Go ahead, Megawatt.
Hey, Rodney, I'm down here with Trevor Bollinger. Unfortunately, Trevor, an early end of the day, got an epic season going on. 4 for 4 so far with the wins. Tell us a little bit about what happened today.
Yeah, I got a decent start, and I was up there front, and I just kept making mistakes, and then I finally was able to change my gloves and stuff out, and I felt like I was the fastest guy out there. But sometimes the riders are not on point, and sometimes the bikes have trouble. But yeah, today's just one of those days, and hopefully we can regroup and come back strong next weekend.
No doubt about it. We know you will. Sorry about the bad luck today. We look forward to seeing you in a couple weeks, man.
Yeah, thanks.
Wow.
There you have it, Rodney.
All right, thanks a lot, Megawatt. Trevor Bollinger, I still didn't really get whether or not it was mechanical or physical there. It might have been a combination of both, but like he said, some days the riders don't have it, some days the bikes don't have it, and kind of left it at that. But whatever the reason is, he's done.
Well, I think Trevor's trying to be a little bit politically correct there. He's not sure what he's supposed to say or not supposed to say, but I'm not affiliated with the team in any way, so I can say he was towed in. There was an issue with his machine. Unfortunately, we've seen a number of riders. Daniel Milner was just in the pits. His bike was not running. They were able to get it refired. Chris Bach was in the pits. His bike was overheating. We see a number of the machines on screen that are, we know Josh Strang had issues with his bike not refiring after he stalled it. So there we see the number 10 JCR Honda, our points leader in the XC2 class, and a perfect season so far, obviously coming to an end here today. Unfortunate for him, but as he said, they will regroup. They will be back. And it's unfortunate, but these conditions are brutal on both man and machine, and it looked like perhaps those radiators just got a little bit packed up. They led to the engine overheating and did some internal damage, and ultimately that machine expired before the finish.
That's a perfect and prime example why folks here at the racetrack and at the racing need to go down and see our good buddy down at FPS Racing with those heavy-duty extra capacity and rock solid radiators that they got down there from by Supertrap down there, FPS Racing. But anyway, yeah, radiators is going to be engine coolant. You're going to want to make sure you got the best coolant that you got out there. So there's a lot of variables going into this one and trying to keep the mud out there, like we say. We'll keep an eye on things right now. We're going to look at some Instagrams there. Hey, look at that. They're fishing. They're fishing. Nieder Laurie as P3 Carbon and Farmer Tech 1964.
No, that's who liked the photo.
Oh, that's who liked it. Okay.
Nieder Laurie, she tweets, "This is how we watch GNCC live," and she's got a checkered flag with a little fish. So they're doing some fishing. I don't know. I'm not a fishing guy, but is that a crappie or a bluegill?
I think it was crappie.
Yeah, it looks like a crappie to me. But again, I don't know the first thing about fishing. I am no Bill Dance.
Wow, look at that. Out on the lake today, it looks like, or on the. It looks like they might be on a boat, but headed to Wisconsin. Oh, they're on the highway once again. And there's no better way to spend this 12-hour ride other than watching this crazy muddy race. I get so pumped whenever I watch that I feel, I don't know, it all came
I feel like I'm there, they said. So that's exactly the point of GNCC Live and RacerTV. We bring the action to you when you can't come to the action.
There you go.
So if you're driving, hopefully you're not the one driving, you're just the passenger. Or if you're out fishing, or if you're home on your couch and you weren't able to make it this weekend to Society Hill, South Carolina for the Camp Coker CST Bullet GNCC, we can bring it to you. Tune into Racer TV every GNCC, many of our ATV motocross, and also the Loretta Lynn's Amateur Nationals, and quite a few other races throughout the course of the year. Racer TV bringing you all the action. Here we see the 4 live upcoming shows. Saturday, May 7th, the Ironman ATV Motocross. Get to see the best ATV motocross riders in the world doing battle on the famed Ironman Ironman Motocross circuit. Then the following weekend, it'll be back to GNCC Live with the Limestone 100, the GNCC ATV Bike Show on Saturday. Sunday, May 15th, the Limestone 100 GNCC Bike Show. Then the following Saturday, May 21st, the High Point ATV Motocross from Mount Morris, Pennsylvania. And there's your next 4 chances to watch Racer TV Live.
There you go. You're going to see where I'm going to be over the course of the next month. Right here on Racer TV, man. I tell you, I live it.
I think maybe I'll come out to Indiana next week.
I was going to ask you if you wanted to come out there. And I really like to. I mean, you obviously you bring a whole great element to that. So we'll look forward to that, Johnny. And I can't wait. Great season and a great series and championship shaping up there. And right now we got some good battling on the racetrack. We were looking at some of our amateur classes as we watched some of the mishaps by others off course here. Johnny Manera leading the 200B class over Cass Jacobs. Nathan Davis was running in the number 3 spot. Teague Securo in the number 4 spot. And Hank Hayes, who got the whole shot out there this morning. Or this afternoon, and the motocross racer himself is rounding out the top 5. Good to see that happening. A lot of crossover from a lot of folks from Moto to GNCC. We're seeing a lot of that. Hunter Williams, 4-stroke B lights class rider out of Sophia, North Carolina, leading there over Justin Murphy out of Morgantown, West Virginia. They got it right finally. 47-second lead with Troy Lieberman, another 2 minutes and 59 seconds behind in the 292 and 3rd. Colton Cup, Morgantown, West Virginia's own, is 4th, and Bolton B. Roth out of North Carolina. Town. How you say that? Flat Town, North Carolina? I don't know. It's got to be a typo. It's P-F-A-F-F-T-O-W-N. Someplace in North Carolina. Vet B 30-plus class, Jared Hoffman leading Mike Barber. We got them out of Pennsylvania and Ohio, but 3 minutes separating that Vet B 30-plus class there, 1st and 2nd. Then we got 8 minutes back to 3rd over Nathan Wallace. Then that's Carson Meisenheimer, 53 seconds back and 4th, and Scott Dallin, 42 seconds back, rounding out the top 5 Vet B. As we look next to Senior B, Mark Proper leading Jeffrey Flynn. Actually, Flynn was leading at the end of lap number 2. He hasn't checked in yet, but Mark Proper checked in that last lap with a 32.06. Flynn had a 32.45, so if the lap times are any indication, we see what happened there. Proper really picking it up proper on lap number 3 out there. Jeffrey Flynn with 2. We know that he has at least dropped back to 2nd now with Eric Robinson at least 3rd, possibly Darren Darmos in 4th, and Devin Ferguson rounding out the top 5 in the Senior B 40-plus class. And as we look at the XC2 Pro Lights, as we told you, Jesse Grom, he's 5th overall, 5th physically on the racetrack right now. Lane Michaels 2nd in the class. Nick Davis is running 3rd. Benjamin Kelly, the 530, is 4th. Tegan Temple in 5th. Josh Toth in 6th. Vance Francis is 7th. Samuel Evans in 8th. Craig DeLong in 9th. Michael McGinnis rounds out your top 10 XC2 Pro Lights. Open A bike, Cole Kirchhoff leading. The rider Brady Myers only 7 seconds back. On board the number 48 in that class as Dual Murphy, the 49, who I think got the whole shot in that one out of Huntington, Indiana, 39 seconds down now in the number 3 spot. Connor Smith, the 747, running in 4th out of North Carolina. Paul Petrin is rounding out your top 5. On screen right now, Johnny Gallagher, there is our leader, and Caleb Russell seems to be taking this one in stride. And
we'll have to see what that gap is back to Jordan Ashburn. We know Jordan Ashburn was on the charge. And as we're at 145 as he came out of that left-hander, we'll watch for Jordan Ashburn. So it's been 13 seconds since 15 since Caleb Russell was in that corner. So we'll see if we can catch Jordan in that same corner and get a gap back. That was not Jordan Ashburn, I believe, there. We're panning back, and we will see. It's been 30 seconds now. And there is Ashburn, so we're looking at about 34, 35, 36 seconds back as Jordan Ashburn as he takes a look over his shoulder. Looking back, no doubt, for the number 5 Husqvarna of Thad Duvall. But right now it is still the number 7 KTM Westfield Power Sports machine of Jordan Ashburn. Got some good lines. He's really carrying his speed around the outside out there. And, you know, Jordan really likes the, there is Thad Duvall. So he's closed up that gap yet again to Jordan Ashburn. Not content to let Ashburn get away and just settle for a podium. Thad Duvall wants 2nd, and, you know, with 1 lap of racing remaining, maybe he can go after the lead.
Wow, how about this day, man? I mean, the players you're looking at, Caleb Russell's the only rider that we, would expect to be up there. Who is up there? Josh Strang isn't, and a few other guys that we might argue could be up there aren't up there today either. But here we got the number 7. Now, we wouldn't want to say we wouldn't argue to be up there, and we wouldn't
Come
want
on,
to argue
Jordan likes the mud. It's
exactly,
a mud race.
that's what I'm saying. But what I'm saying is the elements that this race is bringing out here, the mud, the sand, and I think it's just the midway point, the midway hunger point of the season. These guys are really still searching and still trying to make their mark on the championship season.
Absolutely, and Jordan Ashburn made his mark in South Carolina 2 weeks ago. Well, in
Yep.
the other South
Yeah.
Carolina race 2 weeks ago, he had Caleb Russell, in his sights for well over an hour
Right.
of that race. So obviously he's proving he's adapting to that machine. He's got the
Oh,
speed,
man.
and we know he likes the mud. So he's out here today in these muddy conditions. Here we see Caleb Russell working his way through the finish line chicanes. We should see a white flag waving, and this will be the last lap of racing once things get underway here. Caleb, he switched his lines up a little bit. Now he's a little more sticking to the inside, where before he was running those outside lines trying to get out of the beaten path. It seems like things are drying up a bit, and he can switch back to those faster inside lines. And there it is, the white flag. Caleb Russell comes through. 1 to go for the number 1 FMF KTM. Caleb Russell off in search of what would be his 3rd win of 2016 if he can get it done for one more lap here.
Well, looking for Ashburn, Duval.
There is Ashburn on screen coming through the finish line chicanes, and hot on his heels should still be that number 5 of Thad Duval. So these guys are really still going to keep pushing themselves and keep pushing this battle.
21 seconds separating them at the end of lap 3. At the end of lap 5, we'll know a little bit more about how things are starting to shape up there for the XC1 Pro class. 21.2 seconds, and now that gap has stretched out to 40 seconds. So Russell's lap time at 21:04. He gets back up on par and pace. 21:23 for Jordan Ashburn. He stayed pretty consistent, so can't necessarily knock anything that rider is turning today as far as lap times. Last time around, 12 seconds separated Jordan Ashburn and Thad Duval. Duval turned a 22:01, and this time around, Duval 6.7 seconds back with a 21:18. He was actually about 5 seconds faster than Ashburn that time.
Well, we take a good look at SEAL Team number 5 there, GNCC division, and those guys hanging out all day in the pond. Rodney, we talked a little bit earlier, Johnny and I, at the beginning of the show, often called the great equalizer, is how mud's referred to. Let me explain something to you, man. We call it the great equalizer, not because one guy knows how to ride mud so much better than the other, because it can be mechanical, it can be physical, it can be a crash, it can be so many things as a result of the mud. So when we say it's the great equalizer, we say, guess what? Your bike's no better than the next bike in the mud. You're not much of a better rider than the next guy. All things are equal, but so many things can go wrong at a different level that is so unpredictable. That's why we call mud the great equalizer.
Yeah.
Not because one guy's known as a mudder or he's an exceptionally better rider, say, than the next guy in the mud, but because the mud plays such a big part on the equipment, on the bike, on the vision, on so many things at so many levels.
And your point has been proven right here today, Megawatt. There's no doubt, as we are now about 1 hour and 49.5 minutes, approaching the 1 hour and 50-minute mark in this race.
Yeah, I just caught a word with Lane Michaels' dad, Rick, and I said, hey, Rick, looking good. You know, Lane looks like a young Lane again, man. He's charging hard. And he simply looked at me and said, Megawatt, we're healthy for the first time in a while.
Yeah,
First time in a year and a half or so. He's feeling good. He's feeling normal. They've got some answers for him. So we can expect to see a healthy Lane Michael from here on out, and that's a good thing for GNCC racing.
It most certainly is. I'm pretty stoked on that. So he's got that confidence building back up again. Like we said, had a successful weekend last weekend and having a successful weekend this weekend. Not necessarily looking at the win in the XC2 Pro Lights class per se, but he is looking at a solid podium position finish. Now, what's it going to take for Lane Michael to win? About 1 minute and 26 seconds. Jesse Grom got off to a major good start there, and while everyone else was jockeying for position and struggling to find their spot out there on the track, Jesse was taking advantage of it, moving up. He actually was leading the overall and adjusted time at the end of the first lap. He dropped to 5th place, where he's remained pretty much since lap number 2.
Yeah, you know, when you take a look at that, seemingly basically no major problems for Jesse today. Jesse having a stellar ride out there, as you said, leading on adjusted time, but made good choices today so far. Has picked good lines, has preserved the bike, and basically everything going his way right now. So Jesse Grom out there doing what you're supposed to do in the mud.
Well, Chris Bach has just checked in. I want to check in with some of our A classes again before the end of this lap. But Chris Bach just made his way in. He checks in at the number 4 spot. Look at this, 2 minutes and 43 seconds. I thought there was a big gap. So Chris has lost more time. He had a 2 minute and 41 second gap back to Stu Baylor. So he had a big comfort zone there. But I got to question and wonder. Oh, man, look at that coming through here on lap number 6. Jordan Ashburn starting to feel the pressure, it looks like, as Thad Duvall has reeled him in now.
Man, that looked like second lap of a motocross race right there. Those guys were going inside out, dogging each other. That didn't look like lap 5, lap 6 of a GNCC, man, by no means.
Only 39 seconds now behind Caleb Russell. They have gained a second on the leader and your champ. Not that that's a lot, but that's something to point out for you right now. And if they get to pushing each other through this final lap or so, you know, they could end up maybe closing that gap up, especially late in the race. Lap traffic. This is a tight track. A lot of lines are going to be eaten up and washed out. So, again, we still might be looking at the face of this race changing before the checkers come out.
Rodney, these bikes have picked up 40, 50 pounds of mud. These bikes have had a load on the engine from the minute the Kickstarter dropped. The clutches are beat right now. The cables are stretched. The chains are loose, man. All kinds of stuff can happen at this point. And the riders are beat. But yet, you know what? Still running at 110% on adrenaline, man, knowing it's the last lap.
Yep, they're all tasting it. They're all feeling it. The love of off-road, the passion of what drives them to be out here is what's fueling them through these final laps here today. As we take a look next at the Open A class real quick, Matt, top 5 there include Cole Kirkhoff, Brady Myers in second, Bill Murphy in third, Connor Smith in fourth, and Paul Petrin in the number 5 spot. We talked about that a moment ago. As we go next to our 250A class, Zach Nolan, Christopher Venditti, Sean Benhart, Ryan Slopko, and Eric Douglas rounding out your top 5. It's 250A class. Good to see Nolan back up on top of things back out there out of Masontown, West Virginia. Heading next to our next class, 200A class, Jesse Ansley, last year's national champ in the youth class, leading Chase Hayes. There is the number 1 of Caleb Russell making his way through. And we've got the clock on this. We're going to try to see what the gap back there is. As Megawatt watches that, I watch the screen here. Hayes in second, Braden Moore in third in the 200A class. Zach Hugel is fourth, and Dalton Seals rounds out your top 5. I wonder if that's any of his family over there in the pond right now. 4-stroke A lights class, Tristan Landrum got the hold shot, hasn't looked back. 3 minute and 5 second lead now over the 151 of Chris McManus. Hunter Shelton, the 35, is third. Braxton McGee in fourth, and Connor Keegan rounds out your top 5. So we look next to junior AB 25 plus class, Joseph McCarty, Tyler Hampton in second. Aaron Studer is third. Lucas Towery in fourth. And Mason Stevens rounds out your top 5. And as we look at the Vet A class, Joe Marsh, Jesse Arsenal, Joe Dean, Ryan Inman is fourth, and Fabian Barada. Jordan Ashburn making his way by. And here comes Thad now, back a few seconds. So now they're about a minute behind Caleb Russell. So we're staying consistent, I think, in that minute lap time. Even, well, Caleb was able to stretch it out up to the minute time from 20 seconds. So Caleb's staying good, keeping his head down and charging right now. And it looks like it's just settled into basically those guys aren't necessarily trying to catch Caleb at this point, but they're trying to, well, battle for second right now. Both of them want that number 2 spot. If they can't have number 1, they'll take number 2. Those are some good bragging rights. And I know that especially after having to miss a race there a couple of weeks ago, Thad Duvall not only needs this for championship point purposes, but he also needs it to get that boost of energy back into the championship drive himself.
No question about that. And, you know, we're going to see who wants it the most here this afternoon on this last lap. We're going to see who has the biggest heart, who has the most desire, and if there's enough real estate to make it happen for one of these guys.
Real quick, the senior A40 plus class, last of their amateur classes we look at, Billy Schlag, Bill Atkinson, shotgun John Remington is third, Frank Tussle in fourth, and Patrick Tobin rounding out your top 5 there in the senior A40 plus class. We're about 2 hours, approaching the 2-hour mark in this one. Leaders due in just under 13 minutes. That will be for lap 6 complete. So we are going to be somewhere in the neighborhood of about that 2-hour and 7-minute mark, quite possibly. So I wasn't too far off. I said 10 minutes or so. So Russell, Ashburn, Duval, Chris Bach in fourth. Again, Jesse Grom physically and time-adjusted. Lee is fifth place in the from the XC2 Pro Lights class right now. We look to Stu Baylor, who is the sixth place overall rider, sixth in class. Lane Michaels, second in the XC2 Pro Lights class, seventh overall. Nick Davis is eighth overall. He's third in the XC2 Pro Lights class. Benjamin Kelly, the rider we were talking about out of Harwinton, Connecticut. I want to welcome the listeners and viewers from up in the Northeast and joining us here on RacerTV.com and GNCC Live this weekend. Looks like your boys running a pretty good show today, just out of podium pace. Don't be surprised to see him maybe find that again. He was a solid third a few moments ago. Tegan Tipple rounds out your top five. He's also XC2 Pro Lights. Here's the way it looks. We got 5 XC1 Pro bike riders in the top 10 and 5 XC2 Pro Lights class riders. And told you things are going to look a little different this weekend, and that's exactly what we're faced with here right now. And I'm not saying that it still isn't going to change again before the checkers finally fly.
No doubt about it, Rodney. A unique set of conditions here today. A unique set of players writing the storyline today.
Yes.
And as you said, I don't think it's written and finalized yet. Still got a little bit of racing left here to go. Still have several tricky sections of this race course where a lot of things can happen. And I tell you, it's still anybody's game right now.
There's no doubt about that, Megawatt. But right now, it's these closing moments, you know, the conditions. I know it's only a 2-hour race, but I imagine you talk to any one of these guys, they're going to tell you it felt like a 4-hour race out there. These next 10 minutes or so are going to be pretty critical for the top three, especially second and third right now, because this is going to tell the tape of, you know, what maybe we can expect here in a couple of weeks when we head to the Tomahawk.
Yeah, I think you're exactly right about that. What we've seen here during the last few laps between Jordan Ashburn and Thad Duvall, and watching the times, watching the gaps change with Chris Bach, Jesse Grom, some of these guys, it's amazing after over 2 hours of racing in these kind of conditions, as many swaps and position changes as we've had, these guys still have the same intensity level, and they're still going back and forth at the same guys. Each other still racing and battling at that same intensity level here at the 2-hour mark. And when we're talking about XC2 Pro Lights guys getting up there, 5 of them in the top 10 now, of course 5 XC1 guys in the top 10, that's a testament to the drive and the desire right now. That's a matter of, in less than ideal condition or less than maybe desirable conditions, these guys wanting to prove the point. The size of the bike doesn't matter, the size of the heart does. These guys are going to pick up the pace. They're going to push as hard as they possibly can. And we got a lot of proud guys in GNCC racing, man. That's the bottom line. A lot of guys don't want to accept getting beat by a certain rider or by a certain size bike. And let me tell you something, these guys are a bunch of studs, and they're trying to prove who's king stud right now, man.
Yeah, you know, they're out there, they're really pushing each other, they're pushing the pace, and you know, it's hard to watch in these conditions. But if you really keep an eye on the guys, you can tell when they're trying to baby those machines, when they're really trying to push. You know, there's so many things going on. There's kind of a race within the race, and then there's the mental preparation or mental coping with it, I guess, if you will. I can tell you from making a few trips over to the VP Fuels Pro Row, there's a number of guys dealing with overheating motorcycles right now. You know, Trevor Bollinger obviously out of the race as the byproduct of an overheating motorcycle. Here comes the battle for second. There we see Jordan Ashburn still holding on to that spot, but right behind him we know is the number 5 of Thad Duvall. We got a couple lappers in the way. There is Thad Duvall in the background, so now Ashburn has 2 lappers between himself and Duvall. We've seen these guys battle a number of times, and you know, if you really think about it, Megawatt, when we see these guys battle, and usually it's in inclement conditions, these guys are both, you know, true hardcore GNCC racers. When the conditions get gnarly, they like to flex their muscle.
You know, when Bad Dad was a kid, I used to call him the Hammerhead, man. The worse it got, the harder he would ride. The conditions would get gnarly and sticky. And Ashburn's the same way, man. When conditions get tough or you really have to gut it out, that's when you expect him to be at his best.
Yeah, absolutely. You know, Jordan likes the mud. We know that. He's got the, I think we should get that on the back of his pants. You know, JTLM. Or JLTM. Man, I'm a little dyslexic today. I just had to write on a pit board over there for Bach, and I spelled neutral wrong.
Oh,
I had to, you know, sometimes when you get in that race mode, you just start writing letters down. I think I had neutral or something like that. But he's another rider that's battling the overheating conditions with the temperatures and the plugged up radiators from all the mud. I saw some of the M-Pro Yamaha guys. They were in there rinsing out radiators. They're doing everything they can to keep these machines cool and try and get them to the finish line with 1 lap of racing remaining. 2 hours, 1 minute. We are on lap 6, and these guys are working their way dangerously close to that finish line. Right now, Caleb Russell leading the way, Jordan Ashburn in second, and Thad Duvall in third. That is your XC1 and overall podium as they run. The XC2 class is Jesse Grom leading the way, Lane Michael in second, and the third place ride is that of Nick Davis. We haven't seen Nick up on the podium yet this year, so it's great to see him on that number 527 Am-Pro Yamaha up there. He's another one of those riders that we know has the talent to be up there battling for wins. We've seen him do it a number of times. It's been a tumultuous start to the beginning of 2016 for Nick Davis, but it looks like today things are heading in the right direction. And Rodney, that direction, at least for today so far, is the podium for Nick Davis. We'll see if he can hold on to it for just the rest of this last lap.
Well, this is a ride that Nick really needed, man. I mean, not saying that anything was going awry with him, but from a confidence standpoint, man, every once in a while these guys need to throw themselves a bone whenever they're struggling, and maybe this bone right here is one that he's going to be able to latch onto and chew in the backyard for a little while and maybe start to see a lot more of this.
Yeah, absolutely. Sometimes you just need that breakthrough ride, and today could definitely be that ride for Nick Davis. Nick is not the rider we see on screen, but they should be coming through any moment. We should be next watching for the number 4 JCR Honda of Chris Bach. He would be our 4th place in XC1 and 4th place overall. Then it would be, oh, there's a nice little shortcut that gentleman's taken. He said, forget about that little lake down there. We're just going to take the shortest point between shortest distance between 2 points, which is a straight line. That, again, is another lapped rider. That is not the number 4 JCR Honda of Chris Bach. That guy's way too short. Chris Bach is 13 feet tall. And he's got a left handguard, which we know Chris Bach no longer does.
There you go. Yeah, you got to start looking for little things to pick these guys out on the track whenever you got conditions such as what we're faced with. But there's that section we were talking about earlier that looked like, I think Megawatt was saying we'll see some dust, and we started seeing that section dried out. But man, overall, all in all, the track has really presented itself as a challenge today, and I think this is going to be a really memorable first round of racing.
And there is Chris Bach, the number 4 JCR Honda. There we see the 13-foot tall monster as he works his way through the field sections. He's making the most of the conditions and making the most of the race today. And at least as he runs right now, 4th place in XC1 and 4th place overall. It is pretty close between he and Jesse Grom once you do the time correction. Looks like Grom had just about, let's see, it was elapsed time was 1:50.54 for Chris Bach and 1:52.13 for Jesse Grom. So it's about 1 minute and 13 seconds between those two. But Bach did have a lengthy pit stop. So I believe when he left the pit, they said it was around about 28 seconds was the difference between Chris Bach and Jesse Grom on corrected time. So we'll have to wait and see when those guys work their way through exactly what the tail of the tape is there over that 4th overall position. But Jesse Grom, am I correct in the assumption that this would be the first XC2 win for Jesse Grom?
From what I can recall, I think he may be right.
First to first.
There you go. We got one. I'm pretty sure we'll have to check that and ask him, if nothing else, on the podium. But I think you're absolutely right.
I'm nearly certain it is. I know he's had some podiums.
Right.
But I do not believe he has ever won an XC2 race. So if Jesse Grom can continue the lead that he has here, that is not him there. But he has a lead of 1 minute and 37 seconds over Lane Michael when they checked in at the completion of lap number 5. So that's a pretty healthy gap he has over the 5:23 Coastal Husqvarna rider. But if he can continue that to the finish line, we may see the first to first, which would be Jesse Grom and that number 19 Factory Beta out there getting the job done with the win in the XC2 Lights class.
Looking at the way things are, I know that when they checked in at the end of lap number 5, it was Bach who had about 1 minute and got to find those numbers again. About 1 minute and 15 or 20 seconds or so, I think is what I was calculating at. But regardless, like you say, I mean, the struggles that he had after that with the lengthy pit stops and things like that could warrant things really closing down. But what a big day for Jesse Grom, like you say. I mean, top 5 overall, something that he's probably seen. There's
Caleb
big
Russell.
day for that rider right there. Caleb Russell making his way to the home stretch here as we do an update. We are about 3 minutes out from a checker flag and Caleb Russell's third win of 2016.
He takes a look over his shoulder, making sure he's got that little bit of a gap that he needs over. Ooh, little shoulder check to the tree there. A little bit of a gap that he's got over Jordan Ashburn. You know, I'm going to go ahead and pretend that I have, what do you call that, ESP, where you can see things happen ahead of time. If Jordan Ashburn and Thad Duvall are still battling when they come to this turn where Caleb Russell just was, I'm going to be curious to see how nice these guys are going to be to each other, because they could tee each other up on the inside pretty easily. So this is for second place position, and if they're that close together, I could definitely see this thing starting to get really, I wouldn't say physical. They have a lot of respect for each other, but definitely maybe a little bit of block passing going on. Oh, and there it is. There is Jordan Ashburn, the number 7 Westfield Power Sports KTM. And in the background may have been the number 5 KR4 Arrive and Ride Husky of Thad Duvall. We're being told that it is. They are still that close together. Ashburn down and around, taking that outside line. And looks like he's still got just that little bit of a gap on the number 5 KR4 Arrive and Ride of Thad Duvall. There he is. It's close. This is going to be a nail-biter right down to the finish.
Right.
Bad Thad, no goggles, twisting it.
And that's just it. Just exactly what you say. Bad Thad twisting it. He's got him in sights. He's got, basically, he's on the trail. He tastes blood right now, and he sees the opportunity that is presenting itself, the possibility of second place overall here today. And to be able to come back after not even being able to race 2 weeks ago, capturing a podium is one thing, but racing down and capturing a second place position on the podium in the closing moments will be another great boost of confidence for him.
Yeah, that is our fill-in rider for Grant Baylor. He's actually going to lap down. He's, I don't know how to pronounce his last name. Hartram. Oh, and there we see one of those riders who's taking that severe inside line there and making that corner a little bit shorter. That was a lapped rider. We didn't catch a number, but I'm sure the GNCC track crew will catch up with him. But one thing nobody's catching up with today is the number 1 FMF KTM of Caleb Russell out front. 1 turn to go, and he will be going through the finish line and collecting his 3rd win of 2016.
Here he is, folks. Caleb Russell, your 3-time GNCC champion, taking the inaugural win here at the Camp Coker Bullet GNCC. And 3rd win of 2016. That is a big thing for him, and even bigger, I think, for the history books is taking the first win here at Camp Coker, which I feel is the first of many wins that are going to take place here in the sandy soils of this Marie.
Oh, look at this. Thad Duvall has, oh no, has he? Wait, what are we seeing on screen? No, Ashburn's still in front of him.
All right.
That is Ashburn right there. That is Thad Duvall right on his rear wheel.
This is what we
unless
expected.
anything goes wrong here. Oh, look at this. Around the outside. Oh, Ashburn bobbles. Duvall on the gas. Ashburn gets it done. 2nd place today, Jordan Ashburn. 3rd place rounding out the podium, the number 5 of Thad Duvall. Welcome back to the podium, Bad Thad.
No doubt. And you know Thad's got to be pretty excited, even though he got 3rd and he couldn't track down Jordan there at the checkers for 2nd. Another positive spin on the race day for that KR4 Arrive and Ride rider there for Rocky Mountain ATVMC.com. So Bad Thad getting the cheers from the crowd here in South Carolina, and he does them proud here today, pulling it out. And, of course, that is going to, make for a great day and a great bunch of stories here. So it's Caleb Russell taking the win, 39.7 seconds over Jordan Ashburn. And behind Jordan Ashburn in the number 3 spot, only a couple of seconds off pace, the Husqvarna rider of Williamstown, West Virginia's Bad Thad Duvall. Podium presentations as well as the finish of our XC2 Pro lights and more to come here on GNCC Live.
For a corporate, family, or wedding event, Maury's Recreational Retreat is a 150-acre hidden gem just outside Florence. We offer a 13-bedroom Grand Lodge with full commercial kitchen. Relax and enjoy one of our lakes with fishing pier and boat dock, bumper boats, rifle range, lighted ski facility, horse riding trails, swimming pool, kids playground, and paved go-kart track. On-site chapel is also available. For more information about the perfect getaway for your mind, body, and soul, go to MauriceRecreationalRetreat.com.
When it comes to guarding your engine, AMSOIL offers the next level performance enthusiasts demand. AMSOIL provides 75% more engine protection against horsepower loss and wear than required by a leading industry standard. extending the life of pistons and cams. Give the vehicle you love the above and beyond protection it deserves. AMSOIL, devoted to protection.
Maxxis tires.
CST tires.
You smell it, you feel it, you can taste it in the air. Speed, man. Full wide open. Blast. I didn't really like high school too much. Too booky, too take notes, learn this, and that's it. Yeah, WyoTech, they had full-size motorcycles. The feeling of taking them apart every day, putting them back together. You can't explain it. Everything I learned applies to now. Seeing your motorcycle that you put together right around the track at 180 miles an hour, oh, definitely rewarding. My name is Mike. My school's WyoTech.
Get on the fast track to a career. Turn pro at WyoTech.
I've been with Liat for a lot of years, and I know the dedication they have for safety. When they told me they were coming out with a helmet, I signed right up.
And welcome back to GNCC Live here on RacerTV.com. Rodney Tomlin along with Megawatt Matt Watson, and of course on the color today, Mr. Johnny Gallagher. And those guys have headed down to the podium as we are getting ready for some podium celebrations coming up here momentarily. And we've got some big ones as Caleb Russell has the opportunity to celebrate the first ever win here at Camp Coker and the Camp Coker Bullet GNCC. Jordy Ashburn's got some great bragging rights himself as he rode a good, strong race today. Ended up finishing. Get this, he actually turned a faster lap that last time around. Jay Goebel, want to say goodbye to you and safe journeys as well as he makes his way on back up to Marietta, Ohio with the Impact Solutions Group, Maxxis Tires and CST Tires all together. And anyway, as we look at these results here, Jordy Ashburn, as we said, has a lot to be proud of. Second faster than Russell on the last lap. Duval actually was a 20-minute 55 seconds, so he was faster than both of those guys on the final lap, closing up to just 2.3 seconds. I want to say congratulations to our AMSOIL Twitter contest winner, as he will be receiving $250 in AMSOIL products. It says, at GNCC Racing, I will take at KR557, Chris Bach, and at Josh Strang for the top 3 overall. He did get the first place guy right, but again, it's not about whether or not you're right. It's about whether or not you play right, and that's by hashtagging GNCC Live. And he won himself $250. Adam Miller, and there is our Instagram winner. They get themselves a T-shirt that is Neater Lori. This is how we GNCC Live. And Neater Lori, congratulations to you folks as you find yourself now here with a new event souvenir shirt from the inaugural running of this Camp Coker GNCC, the Bullet GNCC. And of course, I want to say thanks to Moto Cheese for providing that. As we take a look at the Rocky Mountain ATVMC.com overall leaderboard, it is Russell, Jordan, Ashburn, and Duval. As we said, Chris Bach holds on for 4th, and a phenomenal ride for Jesse Grom. And I'm thinking that maybe looking at that rider's first win, so a first-time event, first-time winner, we see it coming through to pass quite possibly. We'll talk with him on the podium here shortly with Megawatt Matt Watson. Now, if we look at the second and third place positions as far as the XC2 Pro Lights bikes are concerned, we see that Grom is followed by Lane Michael, and Lane Michael is followed by Nick Davis. So another big stride there for Lane Michael as he was able to, turn some things around over the course of the last couple of weeks. I mean, 2 weeks ago, as I said, I had an opportunity to spend some time with both he and up in the neighborhood of he and Caleb Russell up in that neighborhood, talk with Rick Michael, which is Lane's dad, and they're telling me they were having some problems. They were on their way to the hospital. Well, we found out one of the problems was low blood sugar, and I think they got that kind of rectified. Obviously, they must have found something the right combination, because great weekend last weekend, followed up by a phenomenal weekend here at the Camp Coker Bull at GNCC for second. Nick Davis also great strides in the right direction for that rider, number 527 out of Mashopin, Pennsylvania again. Remember, he's had a few struggles this year. We expect him to be always one of the competitors, but he has kind of had some struggles this year, but today he puts in a solid ride for third in the XC2 Pro Lights. We got Benjamin Kelly and Tegan Temple rounding out the top 5. Big news in that class, your points leader and race wins sweeper so far, as he had 4 wins straight there in the XC2 Pro Lights class. Trevor Bollinger out of this event. If we look at the position in class, after 3 laps of racing complete, Bollinger is still looking at 18th in the class. That's not going to score well overall, but it might score a point or two, which will definitely help out in trying to make the bid for this XC2 Pro Lights class championship. So just as we had expected, we were just a little over 2 hours in this race after 6 laps had been announced as the final for this. And as we look at it, it was 2 hours, 8 minutes, and 24 seconds. We announced leading into this race that, once again, 2 hours and 40 minutes is normally our minimum, but due to conditions and things of that nature, there had been an alteration in that, and we said that it would be at least 2 hours at that point, giving the flexibility. If conditions would warrant, we would let them take that final hour. But you can see track was certainly taking its toll on riders. Machines were starting to fail, and obviously these guys put in a solid, hard race out here today. And Camp Coker certainly presented it with its challenges, and I think going to make a very memorable affair for these two-wheel pilots that are here. And you know, looking around at the overall results as far as riders, Tim Cotter talked about it earlier. It's not the numbers that we kind of expected to see out here today. We expect, though, this is going to be probably one of the bigger GNCCs. We're going to start seeing, I think, a lot of growth in this one, as it is certainly going to become a very fast premier event in the GNCC Racing Nation. Maurice Hunting Preserve here. As you've seen, we got some commercials and stuff we were playing. Encourage you to come down during that time and take advantage of what this property has to offer, and look forward to what the future has as far as off-road motorcycling and ATVing is concerned here at the Camp Coker facility. So top 10, XC1. We'll break them down class by class for you, or classes there. Their top 10 was Russell Ashburn Duval. Bach was 4th. Stu Baylor was in 5th. Josh Strang held on to some valuable things there with 6th place position finish in the class. Daniel Miller took 7th. Ricky Russell in 8th. Chris Douglas was 9th. Corey Buttrick rounded out the top 10. Brandon Hartrandt is, again, a two-time championship winner, national champion winner there last year at Loretta Lynn's, coming in with the 314's absence of Grant Baylor, and he moves up into that position for the weekend. And we want to say congratulations to Brandon on his first ever GNCC ride. We hope that he enjoyed it. We know that it was a challenging one, but hopefully we'll get a chance to see him come back in the future. Looks like riders making their way onto the podium now is Thad Duval, probably one of the highest favored riders on the track if you go by the amount of noise made by fans cheering prior to the race. He's made his way to the podium, and you know, it's inspiration like that that helped keep him fueled throughout the entire day today. And I'm sure around the racetrack, race fans were cheering him on and encouraging him the whole way, and giving him that extra incentive that he needs to be where he is. And obviously, Thad has gained the popularity of the fans for good reasons. He's a very likable guy, and he always puts on a great show. There's no doubt about it. There's your now 3-time winner and 3-time GNCC champion in the center of the box, Caleb Russell. And there's the man again of the hour as well. Another solid performance, 2 weeks in a row, 2 races in a row for the Westfield Power Sports KTM ride of Jordan Ashburn. As we head down to the podium where Megawatt Matt Watson stands by for the first-time celebrations for these two-wheel pros here at Camp Coker.
Hey, thanks a lot, Rodney. South Carolina, let's put our hands together. Let's make a little noise for our top 3 overall here today. Caleb Russell with the win, Jordan Ashburn in second place, and Thad Duvall coming in third place today after a hard-fought battle. Make some noise, you guys. That's what I'm talking about. These are the diehard fans right here. You guys sticking with us throughout the rain today. Got a little warm and humid this afternoon, but you know what? Make for all the better racing, and it's guys like you why they're out here doing it. So one more time, make some noise for them. That's what I'm talking about. Hey, third place over here, Thad Duvall. Thad, what a crazy day. In the amount of time we had, just a matter of maybe 45 minutes, we got an unbelievable amount of rain. And what happened after that was the rain went away, and we saw lead changes, we saw passes, we saw more action out there than we've seen in a long time. Tell us a little bit what it looked like to you out there.
It was gnarly, but, you know, I enjoyed it. I thought the track was really good for what they had with the rain and everything. And, you know, hats off to the lappers today. They were really good about getting out of the way and, you know, looking back, and if they come to a mud hole, they let us go by. So, you know, hats off to them guys. Sometimes we struggle a little bit with them, but today they were really good. You know, the track was good, and, you know, hats off to Caleb. He must have been riding really good because I know me and Jordan were pushing pretty hard. So, I know I belong up here. It's just taken me 5 races, and, you know, I think hopefully I got the bad luck off my back, and, you know, we're ready to hopefully battle for the win next time. You know, Jordan, he rode really well, and I tried everything I could the last 2 laps, but I just came up short. And, you know, it's I feel good with third, but a little disappointed. I feel like I have a lot more in me, and, you know, it's the bike is working really good. You know, hats off to Timmy and Tony, the KTM and Husky guys. You know, they came over and worked on my bike a little bit yesterday, so it paid off today. You know, my bike ran really good, and, you know, it's turned out to hopefully turn around to be a good year.
No doubt about it. Yeah, it kind of looked like the Thad Duvall of a mini bike days, man. You were just out there, and it looked like the closer you and Jordan got, the more fun you were having. You were trying different lines. You were moving the bike inside out, that kind of thing. Is that how it felt to you?
Yeah, you know, I had a lot of fun today, you know, with the track being gnarly and, you know, racing Jordan. You know, we're pretty good friends off the track. You know, we did a lot of training in Florida this year together, so it was fun to go out and play in the sand again, just like we were down in Florida, just a little bit muddier this time. So, but, you know, it was good, a good day.
Awesome, man. Hey, tell us who helped put this Husqvarna up on the podium today.
Rocky Mountain, KR4, Pro Circuit, Arc Levers, you know, Husqvarna for giving me the support this year, and, you know, it feels good. WP Suspension with the help of Factory Connection, Max's Tires, just my whole family for making it happen today, and, you know, it was cool. And, you know, I want to say a thanks to all the team guys out there. You know, there was a bunch of orange shirts and white shirts and blue shirts, and, you know, we come to Mud Hole, and them guys would always be out there helping all of us. And, you know, it's cool. We come here and race and have fun, and, you know the other guys ain't out for us. So it was a fun day.
Hey, let's hear it for Thad Duvall, third place today. Great job, Thad. We're going to make our way over here to second place right now. Jordan Ashburn. Jordan, what a crazy race today. It was so intense. It was so much fun to watch. I actually got to watch more of the race on the monitor than I normally do, and it was so entertaining, so intense for the first 5 laps. But you know what? It didn't change intensity on the last lap. Incredible. Tell me about it.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, it was a gnarly track, and at the first lap, I didn't get a very good start, so I was in the back of the pack and just trying to pass everybody, and it was just super sloppy the first couple laps. But no, the last lap, and well, actually the last 4 or 5 laps, the whole race pretty much, Thad was right with Mimi, and we just battling back and forth, you know, just good, clean racing, and trying to chase Caleb, and he was on a rail, and everything was good today, though.
Man, on a day when mistakes were rampant, it didn't look like you really made any that we saw.
Yeah, last lap I made a pretty good mistake. I had a lapper actually was going down a straightaway, and he started falling over, and it kind of both ran off the trail, and Thad was right behind us, and that was kind of the biggest incident of the day. But no, just trying to minimize mistakes and stay where I'm at.
Well, congratulations on a great ride. I know you have a bunch of people that you want to thank for helping you put that bike up here today.
Yeah, I'd like to thank the Lord for keeping me safe out here today, and my fiance, my mom and dad, the whole Westfield Power Sports team, Moose Racing, Alpastar Boots, Scott Goggles, Bell Helmets, WP, KTM. I'd like to thank Auntie and just everyone. Thanks.
Right on. Congratulations once again, South Carolina. Let's hear it one more time for Jordan Ashburn, second place overall here today. And in the middle of the podium one more time, we got a special guest with us today, Caleb. We've got Mr. Henry Marie, the owner of the facility here today. He's going to present you with this first place trophy.
Yeah, thank you, Megawatts. You know, it takes a great bike, but it takes a great driver to put you out front. And trust me, I know that. And I want to thank everybody for coming out, and I'd like to present him with this award.
Hey, let's hear it from Mr. Henry Marie, opening up his farm to us, starting a brand new track down here, and I'm sure it's going to be one of the legendary facilities for years to come. Caleb, unbelievable set of conditions out there today. Things changed in a matter of 40 minutes out there from one extreme of dust to, man, we went to a soupy, runny chocolate milk mud to start with, and how thick was that stuff getting at the end of the race?
You know, it was actually, it made it really awesome. I mean, I can't complain. As soon as we took off and got in the woods, I was like, man, this isn't too bad. It's a little slick, but I was like, this is really fun. Like, it had some grit to it, so you had traction and wasn't just sliding everywhere. And it just kept getting better and better besides some of the, you know, sinkholes out there. I mean, those weren't too fun. I didn't think the grass track was that good because, you know, they were just held water everywhere, but the woods were amazing. Like, they were really fun. And like I said, other than the few mud holes that were there, it was actually a blast. It was one of the funnest races I've had in a long time. And I had one mistake, and a vine got wrapped around my foot peg, and it was a weird deal. It didn't hit my brake. It was on the left side, and it just came to a dead stop, and I went over the bars going down this hill. And those guys caught back up a lot, and it was super hard to push because all the grit, I lost my front brakes, my pads went, you know, just disintegrated. But I pulled it together, and like I said, I was just having so much fun. I was just riding smooth and not making any mistakes, and, you know, just had a blast.
So, man, you looking forward to coming back here to Camp Coker next year?
Yeah, for sure. Hopefully we get some more rain. Maybe not quite as much, but yeah, hopefully the track conditions are a little drier, but still tacky because it was a blast.
Awesome, man. Hey, who helped put this KTM up here today, man?
Yeah, I got to thank FMF KTM, Red Bull, Bell, Scott, CD, Dunlop Tires, Cherubies, my mechanic Tanner, my wife, everybody under the team. My trainer Travis with Live It Extreme, and all the fans. Thank you.
Awesome. Congratulations one more time, South Carolina. Let's hear it for overall winner today, Caleb Russell. Second place, Jordan Ashburn. Third place, Bad Thad Duvall.
Well, there you have it, folks. The history-making moment here at Camp Coker's Bullet GNCC, and our top three overalls. We get those monumental photos taken, the great memories recorded here for these guys. And, well, coming up next, the fun part that puts the cap on the day for these riders at the GNCC. And, you know, we always like to say, to the victor goes the spoils, and the spoils of GNCC is the sweet, sweet spray of champagne. Well, you see these guys up here, you look around, and if you take notice, all three of these riders on the podium are former youth pilots in GNCC racing. That's the result of good farming as far as GNCC racing is concerned. We've got three great competitors up there on the podium today. I want to say congratulations to them, and to let you know, just kind of point out the fact of how successful these kids are and these guys are after starting at such a young age here in such a great series. And right now we see the swag flying on the podium, and mentioning, of course, the fact that we had three former youth competitors on the podium. We also had a great youth race earlier this morning, and you know, you never know what's going to happen going into those. And at the end of this one, it was Hunter Reimer taking the win.
Hello, everybody. We're here with the first winner of the day here at the Bullet GNCC, Michael Beeler Jr. with the overall in our youth race. Mike, an amazing race this morning. You got into the overall lead, I believe, by the end of the second lap, and you never looked back. Consistent lap times all the way through. Didn't look like you had a lot of trouble with any lappers or bottlenecks, that kind of thing. Tell us a little bit about it.
Well, the track was good. It was whooped out and sandy, which where I come from, it's all sand. So I just was ripping the whole time, and I just pushed the whole time.
No doubt about it. You did push the whole time, not letting anybody back past you. And like I said, keeping those lap times within 3 or 4 seconds per lap. So an amazing ride, and congratulations with the overall win here this morning.
Thank you.
Well, sorry about that, Michael Beeler. He got the win, not Hunter, but Hunter did win the front row from what I understand, and this kid actually came from row 2, so that's where the confusion came into it for me, so I apologize there for that. But that was cool. We had an overall winner from the Super Mini 12 to 13-year-old class, so congratulations to Michael Beeler on that, and also Hunter in his class win in the 14-15-year-old division. Well, folks, check out the great things going on here at CST Camp Coker Bullet GNCC. A beautiful facility as we take a look around here. The folks are rolling in on Friday under beautiful sunshiny skies. Of course, many lakes and ponds to do your fishing in. Lots and thousands of acres of woodlands here. Fresh virgin terrain that these riders were able to manipulate, and also leading into the weekend and in the racing, they had a lot of time to relax and have fun on the rope swings and the zip lines and everything that is available here at Camp Coker. And as we said, I've talked to so many families here that said this was the great one of the greatest races that they're expecting to see this summer. All right, we are going to look at things here. I don't know what's going on. I believe that we'll look at the overall results. Actually, we got Lane Michael now being touted as the #1 position now, and it looks like Nick Davis is second, Craig DeLong third, so obviously there has been some changes as we look at this. They have Mike Witkowski, or not Mike Witkowski, Jesse Groman 14th, I'm sorry. Witkowski was 15th, but I'm seeing after 5 laps, Jesse Grome in the number 14 place in class. So that's obviously tells the tale of the tape. And I'm not sure, but I think we might be looking at a first-time winner in this XC2 Pro Lights class with Lane Michael. And, man, talk about the major turnaround. 2 weeks ago, it looked dim and dismal. Went to the doctor on Monday morning, and here we are just 2 weeks later, and 2 wins after last weekend. And, of course, here this weekend in the XC2 Pro Lights. Let's head down to the podium and celebrate with Lane and our top 3, Nick Davis and Craig DeLong, second and third.
Wrong station. All right, there we go, guys. XC2 podium, you guys. Make some noise for these guys. Lane Michael with a win. Nick Davis in second place. Craig DeLong right here. Got the whole shot, ended up in third place. Craig, you told me a couple weeks ago, man, I got to put one of these whole shots to use, man. A little disappointed, but I want to tell you something. Tough set of conditions today. You got a great start. You had a smart race, man, and here we are on the podium. You got to be pleased.
Yeah, I'm pretty happy. Got a good start, and like halfway through the lap, fell over in the mud, was laying in the mud, and was back to 11th first lap. And next lap was 11th, and then last 2 laps I just had to put my head down and started picking them off, and then come through the finish, ended up third, and I was shocked.
How'd you like the new track?
Track was good. The rain we got definitely made it interesting, and a lot of fun. I think if it didn't rain, it would have been good.
Well, I know one thing. You had the flow going. You were feeling your mojo, no doubt about it today. Tell me who you want to thank, man, for having such a successful ride today.
I can't thank the whole Coastal team enough. Everyone out there in the woods pointing lines and helping out. MSR, Pro Taper, Bell Ray, Acherbys, Stuck MX Graphics, IMS, Dunlop, Garnet Boots, Husqvarna, FMF, 100%. All my friends and family from back home, and Bell, G2, and everybody else, thank you.
Hey, congratulations on a great ride. Put your hands together for third place today, Craig DeLong. Over here on the other end of the podium. Nick, step on over on this side, man. Good to see you up here, man.
Yeah, it's really good to be back, so I'm super happy.
Want to tell you something. You look masterful out there today, dude. You were flowing. You're riding really smooth. I didn't see you charging any corners. Didn't see you pushing any edges, man. I saw you making smart line choices and keeping steady throttle control.
Yeah, definitely. You know, I had a bad crash in the offseason and hurt my back, and then just tried to ride injured, come back. North Carolina, crashed again, hurt my wrist, and I just, you know, it sucks, but I made the decision to sit out Big Buck, and I'm like, man, I got to get healed up. So I just went home, really buckled down, you know, with myself and trained for 2 weeks and come back here, and I felt really awesome. You know, I didn't get off to the best start, but picked them guys off fast, and, you know, we had a couple little incidents that I could have did better, but I'm fortunate I got second, so I'm happy.
You know, a lot of the fans don't know about a couple of those injuries you mentioned, and you just said you felt good. Man, do you feel like the old Nick Davis?
Yeah, for sure. I definitely felt like the old Nick Davis, the guy that could go out there and push, and, you know, the confident guy, you know, that lining up on the line, I know I could be up there where, you know, before it was like, you know, I'm just not 100%. So, you know, I'm super happy and, you know, got to give it up to my team and everybody for standing behind me, so it's good.
Well, I know one thing, it was a masterful ride. You end up in second place, and I know you had a lot of help getting here, man.
Yeah, definitely. You know, I want to thank NFAB, Yamaha, and Pro. You know, without them guys, I wouldn't be anything. My mechanic, Ryan Ballou, works on my bike in and out. You know, it's hard racing them for so long and beat them up so bad, and it's always brand new. So got to give it up to them guys. You know, my whole family, all the fans out there today, pointing lines. It was great for that. Kenda Tires, FMF, GYTR, just Cycra, everybody else I forgot. You know, like I said, I wouldn't be anywhere without everybody in my corner and sticking behind me. So can't be happy, and couldn't be happier. And we'll go to the next one and hopefully be up here again.
Awesome. Well, congratulations on a great job. One more time, make some noise for Nick Davis, second place overall here today. And over in the middle of the podium, man, oh, man, my old buddy Lane Michael. You know, I've got to watch you ride since you were about 6 years old. No doubt about it. I've watched your whole career. And, you know, I've never really seen you hurt, and I've never really seen you struggle, Lane. But the last couple years, you and your dad have been trying to figure some things out. And to watch you come out and excel today and get some answers about what's going on with your health, how happy does that make you, man?
Yeah, it's good. I mean, I've always had the speed. I mean, that was never a question. It's just inconsistency. I really struggled. I mean, I did really well on mini bikes, and then, I don't know, just a first transition over to big bikes, just, I don't know, I never could really get the hang of it. But I feel like the past couple of years, I've really been finding my groove, and then, you know, getting back on an Austrian bike this year, it's made a huge difference. I feel right back at home, and, you know, we have awesome parts, and it's going well. I'm starting to find my groove, so I'm looking forward to the rest of the year.
It was quite obvious by watching you that you definitely are feeling better, that you're in the groove right now. How do you feel about your progress so far this season right now? We've come out now in round 5 with a win. You've been doing some different training. You've been spending a lot of time down south. You feel like it's finally coming together?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, I've been riding with Caleb down in North Carolina for a couple years now, and you know, it's always a good gauge. It's a pain in the butt sometimes, always getting you know, beat on the practice track, but you know, it all benefits you. So it's been really well. We have a good group. You know, we have a trainer, Caleb and I, Travis Beam at Live Extreme, and you know, he's really got my fitness better than it's ever been. So you know, that hasn't been any problem this year. It's just been all up on me. So. I'd rather have it that way. You know, the team, they have an awesome bike, and you know, we have good suspension, and you know, the whole package. So it's all up to me as the rider. So yeah, it's good.
I'd have to say it's good if you're Lane Michael, no doubt about it. I know you got a lot of people that had a lot of faith in you for a long time, helped you make this possible, and helping you live your dream. Who do you want to thank?
Yeah, first off, I got to thank my mom and dad. You know, if it wasn't for them get me started in the first place, well, mainly Dad. I don't know how much Mom wanted me to race, but definitely my dad. And then my aunt's always here. My Uncle Roger, he's been coming and helping out. And then feels good to get the first win for the Coastal team with them stepping up and helping us this year. And so definitely got to thank Coastal Racing, Husqvarna, Bell Ray, FMF, Pro Taper, Achurby's, Stuck Graphics, IMF, Dunlop. You know, everyone else, Seat Concepts, Bell Helmet, Scott Goggles, and just everyone else that helps out the team, my girlfriend, her family, and just everyone else. Thank you.
Well, congratulations, Lane Michael. Make some noise in South Carolina for this guy. And, hey, Uncle Roger looks thirsty over there, man. He looks like he needs a drink of that spray, man. Congratulations to all these guys. Lane Michael with the win. Craig DeLong in second place. Or, I'm sorry, Nick Davis in second place today, and Craig DeLong in third. One more time. Let's hear it, South Carolina.
Well, there you go. Big day on the day there at a race of first time ever at Camp Coker. First time win for Coastal Racing and the new team that they've got. So congratulations to them. I think also first time win for Lane Michael. And look at that, Coastal got 2 riders on the podium with Craig DeLong finishing 8th overall. and Lane Michael finishing 6th overall and 1st and 3rd in class. As we look at the CST Camp Coker Bullet GNCC results on the Rocky Mountain ATVMC.com leaderboard, Russell Ashburn Duval, Bach, and Stuart Baylor were your top 5. Then it was Lane Michael, Nick Davis, Craig DeLong, Benjamin Kelly, and Josh Strang salvages a 10th place position after all of his struggles here today. It's certainly going to put a big twist on the championship points race and give a little bit of breathing room there now for the new points leader in Caleb Russell, as he was tied in points coming into this round with Josh Strang. So now he's got the sole points lead all by himself, and I'll tell you, whenever you get to this point, sometimes it's hard to stop him. And there's somebody that's hard to stop as well. So we got our XC2 Hot Cams Hole Shot Award being presented there to Craig DeLong on the podium.
Hey, thank you, Rodney. We've got one more award right here for Craig DeLong. The XC2 Bike Hole Shot Award presented by Hot Shots Unleash the Power Within. An extra $100 for you, Craig. Not the first one of these you've won this year, and I know you're going to get many more. Anybody else you want to thank today for helping out?
Yeah, just the whole Coastal team and all my friends and family and everybody else. Thank you.
Awesome. Well, Craig, congratulations again. Look forward to seeing you in a couple weeks, man.
All right, sounds good.
Thank you so much.
I'm with you, Megawatt. I'm looking forward to see what happens here in a couple of weeks when we roll into the Tomahawk here, I believe it is, if I'm not mistaken. Looking at that, or actually, no, Limestone. I'm sorry, Tomahawk's after that. Limestone is 2 weeks from now, and that'll be the Limestone 100 over in Indiana. Should be seeing a lot of the Midwestern cross-country racers making their way into that realm, and always presenting a great race. Also next weekend, we're going to be live on RacerTV.com from the Ironman Raceway, home of the Ironman GNCC, where Ironman ATV Motocross will be taking place next Saturday. We'll be broadcasting somewhere in the neighborhood of around 1:30 or so, as our first motos will be getting underway about 2 o'clock. Saturday, May 14th and 15th, the Limestone 100 GNCC ATV and bike on Saturday and Sunday, and then the following week, we've got Saturday, May 21st slotted for High Point ATV Motocross. Be your first look at the High Point National Track for 2016. For those of you that are moto fans, I think you're going to enjoy that quite a bit as we head down to the podium one more time as we have our American Cargo's Top Amateur Award to hand out.
All right, here we are today with the top amateur overall riders today. In 3rd place, Alex Teagarden. Your winner, Zach Nolan. 2nd place was Cole Kirchhoff. He's actually not with us. We made a couple calls. He wasn't able to make it up here. Probably feeling the effects of the tough track conditions today. So we'll start with Alex today. Alex, you already had 1 top amateur overall this year. This is your 3rd time, I believe, up on the podium, or maybe 4th, actually. So it's been a good year so far. I could tell by the look on your face when you crossed the finish line. Probably not happy with this. But given the conditions today, you gotta take what you can get, and tell us a little bit how your day went today.
Yeah, I'm actually pumped with this. I had pulled into the pit and told Dad I think I'm done, because I had arm pumps so bad I couldn't get anything going. I couldn't breathe. I couldn't get anything going. I went out. Apparently I figured something out and sprinted as hard as I could from the 2-lap board on, and I'm actually thrilled with the comeback that I made. So.
Well, you know, at one point being to the point where you thought you couldn't even finish the race to come back, finish 2nd in 258, and to be up here on the overall podium out of all the amateurs out there today shows a lot about your resilience and obviously the people that you have behind you to keep pushing you and keep you going to the finish. So I'm sure you got a lot of people you want to thank, Alex.
Yeah, absolutely. I got to thank Dad. He's the one that told me, you're not quitting. Thank him. Steve Hatch Racing, he's got me in super good shape to be able to do things like sprint for an hour and make a good comeback. So thank you to him. Thanks to Waynesburg Yamaha, FMF, Bonsai Engines, Stuck MX, Factory Connection. Thanks, guys.
All right, there it is. Alex Teagarden, 3rd overall amateur today in 2nd place at 250A. And here he is, folks, your 250A winner, your top overall amateur. Got a little bit of traveling money for you here from American Cargo. Zach, this is 2 in a row for you. So how's it feel to be up here today? Obviously, tough conditions out there today. We watched it all. Oh, we got a trophy here for you, too, so you get to take that home with you. You know, it was tough conditions out there today. We know you thrive in those conditions. We've seen you do it so many times. But to do it again here today, I'm sure it wasn't easy. Tell us a little bit about it.
I'm super excited about it. But since the beginning of the year, kind of working for this spot, I really wanted to get up here and win the top amateur. And when I seen it starting to rain today, I was like, today is my day. Because, I just like the mud. I don't know what it is about it. I just always have good numbers in the mud. So me and Benedict, I think's his last name, we was battling there about all day, and I just could not get in a rhythm at all. I could get smooth in a couple sections, and then the next sections I was wrecking, hitting trees, falling over, getting stuck. So I was like, man, I got to quit this or I'm never going to get up there. And I just kept pushing and pushing and pushing. And I think it was second, I got the 2-lap card. I was right ahead of him, but he was right behind me. And I said, this is it. I gotta get on somebody's tail, and I got to pull with them, and I got to pick smart lines, and I got to run it all the way to the end, or I'll never get it. And that's what I did there towards the last lap. I got a pretty good rhythm going. I wasn't worried about who was behind me. I was just trying to focus on what was out front, pick smart lines, and keep the bike up on 2 wheels. And it worked out good for me.
Well, you know, like we said, tough conditions today, Zach, and we've seen you make the progression. You were on the podium overall in Steel Creek. You were on the podium overall 2 weeks ago at Big Buck, and here you are up today on the podium, but in the center, top amateur overall. I'm sure it didn't happen by itself. There's a lot of people helping you. I know it's been a long road back. We've seen you up here so many times in the past, and now to be up here again in 2016, I'm sure there's a lot of people you want to thank.
Yeah, I want to thank my mom, dad, brother, of course my family, because without them it wouldn't be possible. I want to thank my brother, my girlfriend, Levi. I want to thank Todd Ely at Teely Energy Racing for all his support. I want to thank all the Teely Energy Racing guys that are out there cheering me on, pushing me forward, telling me good job, and keeping my head up when I'm down. I'd like to give Donald Street, give him a big thanks. I want to thank Bill Daly at Outlaw Motorsports. He's a huge help. He keeps the bike where it needs to be where it's at now. So I'd just like to thank RM Performance. That's my brother's business. He pulls pretty good late nights on making sure the bike's ready when I'm working and don't have time to do it. I'd just like to thank everybody, even the spectators and everybody that pointed me lines.
Well, as Rodney Tom likes to say, to the victor go the spoils, and the spoils in GNCC Racing is the sweet, sweet spray of champagne. Zach Nolan, we're going to let you pop that bottle and send it over to Rodney here in just a moment, but the fans are moving their way back, and they don't want to get sprayed. We got one guy up front that wants to get soaked. Get him there, Zach. There you go. Oh, he even gets his crew a little bit, and a little shot for Alex Teagarden. Back to you, Rodney, and there it is, folks. Zach Nolan, Cole Kirchhoff, and third place overall was Alex Teagarden. Back to you, Rodney.
All righty. Thanks a lot, Johnny Gallagher. Congratulations to those three as well as all our competitors here today. As we know, you each met a challenge when you went out onto this racetrack. And we hope to be back and see more of this beautiful Camp Coker facility and the Marie Sportsman's Reserve. And again, just another great and phenomenal place to have a race and a great race weekend. Well, that's going to wrap things up. I want to say thanks to all the folks who helped make RacerTV possible. Of course, Mrs. Carrie Russell, I want to say thanks as she is our executive producer and really a visionary as far as RacerTV is concerned. Bryce Harden, our producer, technical director Dan Reinhardt, also technical engineer Johnny on the spot this weekend, no doubt about it. Jacob Beck, thanks for all your hard work. Also creative editor Mitch Rosenberry, as well as camera operators Derek Garcia, Jamie Snyder, Josh Zaleski, and Jordan McFadden. On behalf of my co-announcers, Megawatt Matt Watson and Johnny Gallagher, I'm Rodney Tomlin saying good day, everybody.